aboard. Activate. Audio test, Black Mace. Massages.
Testing, 1, 2, 3, testing.
We are live! This is XGR and you're watching another Pro-Am race today here at Caplan Stadium. We are watching Mustangs only go head to head. Finally, the Mustang actually stands a chance. The Pro-Am format is what we're racing today and it's going to be very exciting.
Absolutely. For any of you that are new to XGR, this is our Pro-Am format that we've run a lot of times. We'll be splitting the day into both heat races and main events. So to start out the day, we'll be having, with the amount of racers we have, it's kind of variable. So today we'll have 4 heat races. Through the heat races, if you win, you qualify for the Pro Main, which will come later. If you finish the race and don't crash, you will qualify for the AM race, which will come later in the day. So yeah, we'll be doing 1 lap races for all of these 4 heat races that are coming up. And then we will be having 4 laps for the AM main and 8 laps for the Pro Main race. So lots on the line.
Yeah, it's a very successful format nowadays, isn't it? We've used it so many times and it just works. I love the setup. It's really good. Grid positions, let's talk about those because we're at Caplan Stadium and we start underneath the struts, and that's really exciting because we can actually line up the racers per strut. So for heat number 1, we are using SCR.GG, another quick shout out for these setups. So we've got the time trial leader board, of course. The world record holders are on there, and we're using that for heat 1. So we'll see Shaqnu in first place, and we've got Splen in second, and so forth. We're doing, I believe, 3 racers per strut, so it's going to be really exciting to watch the racers pick different lines as they approach the first corner and go through the slalom. And for subsequent heats, we will be using the previous heat results. So heat 1, SCR results, heat 2, 3, and 4, because we're doing a total of 4 heats, will be based on the previous results. So that's going to be awesome.
Definitely. So like you mentioned, going off of time trial results for this initial start on the heat, and then of course everything else randomized after that, but plenty of opportunity for those that don't have times to put in a good finish in heat 1, get a chance to get right up front on this staggered start for heat 2 and onward, and try to get a win to make it to that Pro Main later today.
Absolutely. You want to take people through a fly through of the track and see what it's all about?
Absolutely. Let's go. Any of you guys that remember, this is a OG XGR track from way back in the day, Caplan Stadium. Still holds up to this day. Very, very fun, very, very cool track. We start out here at, on the starting line at this first strut. Racers will make their way through the bottom of the station, or bottom of the platform.
Yeah.
So it's really wide open here. Of course, some obstacles, cargo containers, hanging antennas, things like that you have to watch out for. Generally easy along the start, plenty of room.
This is full throttle, by the way, this first section. And we're watching Shaqnu in the Mustang.
Yeah, if those of you guys know Shaqnu, he holds, I believe, currently the world record time for this track in a P52. But yeah, we'll make our way into the slalom here. There's a couple of ways to go about it. There's been a lot of experimentation lately between this, which is they're dubbing the dolphin method. You know, you go up and down, up and down. And there's also a corkscrew method you can do, which we are just basically doing barrel rolls through the entire thing.
Pause it right here, Marble, for a minute while we talk about it. Sorry.
No worries. But yeah, so it'll be interesting to see. I think we're going to see a lot of dolphin technique today with the Gammas. They're a lot larger than something, say, like the P52. So you got a lot more wings sticking out, easy to clip on some of those. So the Dolphin seems a little more safe and reliable, but I'll be curious to see if anybody pulls out any other strategies throughout the...
It's going to be really interesting. I think as well, because there's a difference between time trial and let's say a live race. What's going to be quicker and how do you adapt when you've got people in front of you? That's going to be really interesting.
Absolutely. Say somebody was doing corkscrew and somebody else was doing a dolphin method, right? You're not necessarily going to be following each other's track. So it would be very easy to accidentally have a collision during that section, or maybe an opportunity to overtake, you know, depends on how these guys utilize it. All right, so yeah, we can make our way from here. We're going into Skyscraper Alley. So this is just kind of a little kink through the skyscrapers here as we make our way past this last one, going into Cargo Valley, which is a really, really fun corner. You come in with a lot of speed, have to make sure you're not clipping that outer edge of the cargo containers as you make your way back towards Caplan platform into the sections called, or the first of the chutes. There are actually two chutes. This is the first one, the tighter of the two chutes. So this is a really fun speed check here. You're wanting to make sure you have a lot of boost available so you can really maximize your speed during this long straightaway as we make our way toward a really tight brake section and into what is called the fold. So you'll backtrack on yourself. This has got a lot of verticality to it as you make basically 3 corners here. You can see this is kind of the optimal strategy, turning right every time so you open it up for yourself as you loop back down. Try to not clip your bottom as you go into the second of the chute.
I love these chutes, man. It's one of those things where it really gives you a sense of speed because you've got so much around you. It's like the trench run in Star Wars, right? It's beautiful.
Absolutely. Both fun for the pilots and for the viewers, right? You get some really, really cool shots through here. And as we make our way towards the end of the track, this is called Skid Row. You're really getting on the lockers, trying to stop yourself, drop down, and you're back onto full throttle at the start of the track.
Yeah, it's gorgeous. And thanks again to Shaqnu for showing us how it's done with the Gamma. I wonder if we'll see any other ships other than the Mustang Gamma. Like, will we see any Omegas or maybe Alphas? I'm curious. Probably everyone's running Gammas, but we'll see once we're there. Let's take a look at what this is all for, because of course we've got bragging rights as we always do, but you can see it now on your screen, the Avenger Titan starter pack with LTI provided by CIG. As always, we're very grateful. The idea is, of course, that the winner of today's race can probably invite one of their friends that isn't actually joined into the verse yet, or, you know, they can keep it for themselves. Who's to say what you do with it? So, yeah, really excited that we can give away this prize. Again, sponsored by CIG. Really, really cool. And it's a cool ship, too.
Absolutely. Yeah, I don't have a Titan package, so I would take it just generally. It's even being a starter package ship, it's a very, very, very good ship. Very fun to fly and lots of uses.
Absolutely. So I think, it's about time to get going.
Yeah, we've got everybody lined up in this staggered position on the starts. I think we're just about ready to get into heat number 1. We'll wait for race direction here, but we should be getting going really quickly.
We've got a whole bunch of cameramen on track today, some fixed perspectives. We've got Double J, Turkin, and Infused helping us out. Additionally, on top of Osashi's yourself and me flying around to commentate the action as well. We're looking back toward the track right now. All the racers are there in the back, and they will be flying toward us, and it will be dipping down to the left into the slaloms. We've just got just under 2 minutes until race start, so maybe just enough time to talk about some predictions, Osashas. What are your feelings? We've got some really fast guys here. Shaqnu, Splen is here. Connor has been really kicking ass. What are you thinking?
Yeah, we'd be silly not to specifically point out initially Shaqnu and Splen, the two that have been absolutely slugging it out for not only this time trial but many time trials throughout the roster of XGR tracks and others. So I fully expect Shaqnu and Splen to be fighting for some of these heat race wins. Definitely expecting to see them in the pro main, like you'd mentioned, Connor. We've got guys like Neojet, who has a lot of speed, Sharkbait. I mean, tons of folks that I'm going to miss in this party marker soup that I'm looking at currently, trying to make out names. But got a lot of competition today, absolutely. And like I'd mentioned on our Discord last night, I hopped in with a lot of these guys running practice last night, just putting down lap after lap after lap in the Mustang Gamma. So there's been a lot of preparation for this event as well.
Absolutely, dude. I'm so thrilled to see different people running different lines. And again, it's going to be so spectacular, the fact that we're running Mustang Gammas. It's a beautiful ship. Doesn't currently really hold up its own against the other racers. So yeah, it's really exciting to see the Mustang stand a chance.
For sure. In previous patches, the Mustang actually was a little bit close on some of the tracks just due to its power non-boosted, but unfortunately, in recent times, we haven't seen the Gamma really be a competitive choice, for a while. So this is going to be really fun to see it be the king of this track, since everybody's forced to race it. Not only is it just a really cool ship to race in, but it's really fun to watch as well. It's got a really cool profile. It's a little bit bigger than our typical ships that we see racing, like the Razor, P-52, P-72, etc. So it'll be fun to see how it navigates around this track.
Absolutely. Couldn't agree more. I love the blue of the Gamma. Also really like the red of the Omega. If you had a chance to get it, the Omega, of course, being one of the ships that you could only get through an AMD GPU deal at some point, I believe.
Yeah, correct.
All right, we've got a total of 14 racers then, ready to battle it out. We've got just a few seconds until Heat 1 gets underway. Really excited to see what racer takes what line going into the slalom and how it'll affect them, who is in front of them.
Definitely. Shaqnu and Splen right now probably very happy they've got those front two positions so they can possibly just get out to an early start.
Yeah.
Make their way down the slalom without a lot of traffic. Should set them up really well to have good success in this first heat race of the day.
Big welcome in the meantime to the joiners, the early joiners. Oh, the racers are off. There we go. No announcement this time. Let's watch as... Oh, Splen already ate the end of the station. It's Shaqnu in the lead then. Keith in second. Keith also with some really close times on the time trial leaderboards. Let's watch them go through as we follow them down through the slaloms. Lots of party marker soup happening. We're seeing Shaqnu with a good lead as they're approaching Turkin, our cameraman. We'll see how... Oh, lots of explosions on the slalom. We're missing Connor, he's out. Prime is making his way through still, but it is Shaqnu with a clean lead. What do you
we lost
see?
Speedweed during that slalom as well, unfortunately. Another one of the really fast guys, so it looks like he clipped something. We actually saw a couple of guys clip the end of the platform coming out towards the slalom. Really interesting to see a mistake like that with there being so much room. But yeah, Shaqnu still in a comfortable lead. Keith Maxwell, one of our newer racers, holding second comfortably. Looks like Sharkbait may have clipped there, unfortunately, on Cargo Valley. Shaqnu coming down the chute with a incredible lead at this point, making his way towards the fold section. Let's see how he takes it here. Nice and tight. Turn to the right. Through the undersection of the fold. Now he's going to come back over the top. Yeah, this is just work of art. Shaqnu just basically putting in a time trial lap at this point with no competition, no traffic to worry about, and he'll be heading down the last chute towards Skid Row and a win for this heat race number one. We'll see if he can hold it together.
Coming down now, making his way through the second chute. Here he comes. He's just about to approach Skid Row. Beautifully tight done, tight turn for him there. He takes a really tight line and makes his way across the finish in first place. So I kind of want to say no surprise that Shaqnu takes the first win of the day. Keith, very nicely done though in second place. Good job to Keith. Now across the finish line. Do we have anybody else coming through the chute? I think it's Red Wolf actually. There he comes. Very
We've got
nice
Cal the
tight
Kid and Cy
line.
Prime as well coming through. Reminder to our viewers as well too, these racers have to finish at least one of these heat races, whether they win or not, to be able to qualify for at least the M main later. So very important that during these 4 heat races, everybody manages to actually finish within the allotted time limit and no crashing out.
That's beautifully done. All right, we'll wait for all the racers to make their way through, and we'll have a look at some of the results. So let's just have a little moment. We'll wait for our race director to confirm that the race results are populated.
Yeah, like you mentioned though, no surprise with Shaq New, especially having that first gate position. Just, you know, put on a textbook run, keep it clean, keep it in front of everybody, especially with Splen crashing out so early there, not able to try to catch him, put on any pressure.
Lots of
Shaq New just
DNFs through the
keeping it clean.
slalom. Are you surprised?
Not at all. Anybody that's came and looked at this track, let alone actually raced this track before. The slalom is very, very tricky. Even for folks that have done it a whole bunch of times, one little mistake in your timing and it can just get you completely off sync, and you end up clipping one of the many hanging obstacles that are in that section.
Let's take a look at the results then, and just confirm where we are. And again, a big congratulations to Shaq New for coming in first place. Looks like these results are not yet updated. This looks a little dodgy. Main 3 XGR club track. We are not at the club track, I promise. We'll need to just have a little double click on that marble and click on refresh cache to get some updated results of that. But yeah, good job, Shaq New. We can have a little chat with him and see what he thinks of his own performance. He had a time of 1:55.8. So we'll go ahead and have a little chat with Shaq New. Shaq New, congratulations on winning Heat 1 of the day. No surprise there. How are you looking back at your own performance? Your total time was 1 minute 55 seconds and 8.8.
Yeah, it's around the time I expected. I'm feeling pretty calm right now. Yeah, no nerves now.
Pretty calm. Early on, you lost Splen. He crashed on the straight. Any idea what happened, or did you not see him?
I did not see him, but I heard the crash, and with how close it was to me, I figured it was him.
Gotcha. Interesting.
Were you dialing it back at all during that lap, just since you probably could feel you had a pretty comfortable lead?
I was. As soon as I heard that crash, I was pretty confident it was him. So I just, and I knew with the party marker soup, it's going to be a little harder to go through this slalom. So definitely going through it slower than what I'm usually do.
Makes sense for sure. Well, yeah, great job, man, securing that first position into the pro main later, and now you can just get to observe these guys trying to slug it out and get ready for later when everything is on the line for the big bacon.
Yeah, it's gonna be fun to watch. Good luck, racers.
I just want to know, Shaq, before we let you go, when you get into that pro main, you'll be doing the dolphin as you've come to adapt it.
Oh yeah.
What is your strategy if you've got a racer in front of you through that slalom? How will you approach that situation?
I'm just going to give him some space. I tried overtaking during practice sessions this week, and I think it's just way too risky because everyone takes the slalom differently. So, yeah, and if they crash and but they survive, well, now that's just another obstacle you have to fly around. So, going to give him more space so that I have more time to react to that.
Excellent. Well, all the luck to you. Look forward to your performance.
Thank you.
I also just want to give a quick shout out to Herbie. He is here, even though you don't see him. He has got I believe it's an 890 jump or maybe a Carrack. I don't remember what it is that he flies.
890 jump. Yep.
890 jump. He parked it in one of the hangars so that the racers can really easily and very quickly make their way back to the spaceport without having to do the walk of shame, as we've come to call it. But on top of just the tedious walk back to the spaceport, there's a bug going on in a hospital right now, making it a bit of a challenge to Exit the elevators. Always the elevators in Star Citizen. So yeah, just wanted to say thank you to him as well for helping out.
For sure. Huge shout out. This is, of course, much more production behind the scenes than you see from our faces. So big thank you to everybody that makes this possible for us to go racing.
Absolutely. Yeah, we've got Turkin helping out with cameras, Double J, Infused. We've got Marble pressing all the buttons. And of course, your beautiful face, Ty. Thank you for joining again.
Oh, thanks for having me, as always.
So I'm looking at all the racers lining back up again. Again, we're using Heat 1 results for the grid for Heat 2. So we'll be seeing Splen, for example, in the back because he DNF'd. So that's going to be really interesting, watching some of the faster guys having to work to make their way to the front again. This time we'll spectate the race start from the other side of the slalom, so the racers are going to race away from us and we will await their approach through the slaloms to see who can make it through cleanly.
Yeah, that's very interesting. I actually hadn't thought about that. So Splen at this point, one of our other expected pro main contenders, is going to have to make his way through a whole bunch of traffic to try to secure at least this heat win, right? If he at least gets in a solid result,
that's right.
For Heat 3, he could get a better starting position. But
it adds
definitely an uphill climb for him right now.
It adds a whole lot of strategy to it, right? Like you mentioned, he could spend this heat trying to secure something closer to the front, so he has an easier chance to win it in Heat 3, for example. There's more to it, I guess. That's a really cool side effect of this system.
Definitely. And so that, if I'm not mistaken, that was Keith that came in second Heat 1, going to have that first position, that absolute great open position going into the slalom. Proving that he manages to get through the start cleanly, right? Execute that first turn, right? And then you get an open alley through the slaloms. That's really, really nice on lap 1. Well, the only lap of this heat race.
Real quick, for our race director, Luigi, again, a big thanks to him as well for helping out with this. As always, if we can get the call-outs on the start, Heat 1 was a bit of a surprise. If we can get a countdown, that would be amazing.
Such a beautiful location here, of course. Like we mentioned before, it's been a while since we raced here at Caplan.
5 seconds to heat number 2.
All right, here we go. 5 seconds.
There they are, all off, making their way through full throttle down to the slaloms, and we'll watch them go through. I think we see a little tap for Red Wolf. He does make it down though, so we'll watch them approach the final stages of the slalom. I think we're seeing Keith with a really good opportunity here in the lead over Red Wolf. Incredible party marker soup. There we see all of them doing the dolphin, as they call it, just rolling on their side, pitching up and down as they would make their way through. It's Keith.
Speedweed crashing during the slalom on almost the exact same spot he had in Heat 1, unfortunately, so he is out.
Keith is through and Flip in second. Flip also participating in the Student Showdown earlier today with an incredible performance. Red Wolf in third place. They're making their way through the cargo valley right now, and Flip is closing the gap on Keith. Really close behind as we go through the chutes now. Let's see if we can get an angle through the chutes as they approach Double J.
Side by side, Flip and Keith keeping it. Oh, Flip has a little more, but he starts decelerating earlier than Keith. Be really interesting to see how this goes through the fold. They are neck and neck at this point. Flip diving inside. Flip actually making the overtake here. So this is really, really tight at the moment. Let's see how they execute this second turn during this obstacle. Flip comfortably in the lead now, actually a little bit. And we're going to see if any of them manage to scrape their belly. No, they are diving down. It'll be interesting to see who has the most boost available.
Oh my god, they are neck and neck. Keith is just in front of him, but so close. Are they touching? I believe they're touching. As they go through, Keith is out. He hits Flip, or Flip hits Keith. I don't actually know. But there's Flip through Skid Row and finishing in first place with Red, then in second. Oh my god, I cannot believe they touched. That Mustang is a chunky ship, and those wings are sensitive and prone to actually getting knocked off. That was intense and a little painful to watch, I have to admit. What an unfortunate end for Keith then, as Flip takes first place. Wow.
What a finish. Oh, man. I mean, it's unfortunate that Keith crashed out of there. Keith's already secured a spot in the AM main, at least, of course. But, yeah, great job from Flip, managing to just push it that entire time, put the pressure on Keith. And then, unfortunately, whatever happened there, I didn't quite catch who caused that incident. But, yeah, congratulations to Flip.
An unfortunate DNF again for Splen then, not making his way to the front this time. Wow, that is painful. He's gonna have to start from the back again. We should definitely check in with Flip and see how he experienced that that collision there. Maybe he noticed nothing at all.
Yeah, definitely possible.
Flip, congratulations on winning heat number 2. We have to ask, what happened in the final shoot, and did you feel anything off that collision?
Yeah, thank you. Me and Keith were really close. I saw him come right next to me, and I backed off a moment, and I was like, well, if I back off all the way, that's it. So I'm just going to keep going. I felt a little bit of resistance as we collided, but I think I just lucked out being the one who didn't crash.
So when you were in the chute, was he in front of you, next to you? What did you see?
I was ahead of him at first. He came right up, scooted ahead of me, and then we just like collided right after that.
That's insane. So congratulations.
Yeah, we were really close.
Also on doing really well in the student showdown earlier today. Tell us, how long have you been racing?
Thank you. I just joined Shack News Racing School a few weeks ago. I've been playing Star Citizen a while, but nothing at this pace, speed, and technicality. So I've been getting a ton out of the classes. It's been super fun.
Awesome. Great job.
Results up.
Thank you.
I guess this is a testament to Shack News training. Apparently pretty good, seeing as you're so new, and yeah, you're making it to the pro main today. Great job.
And we'll see how well I do once I get there.
Yeah, that's really good. And remind me, what are your keyboard, your inputs again? Were you racing keyboard mouse, or are you on sticks?
I'm on sticks.
Brilliant.
OSS with pedals.
That's gorgeous. Excellent stuff, man. Well, congratulations. Looking forward to your performance in the pro main today.
Thanks so much.
That's gorgeous, dude. A big shout out to Shaq New, not just for being an amazingly fast racer, but also for stepping up and helping out with his very own racing school here at XGR. It is so cool to see him lower the threshold for so many people to come race. So if you are in any way interested in racing, this is your invitation as well to join the XGR Discord. You can go to racexgr.com/Discord and come race with us, or learn how to race and listen to Shaq New as he teaches you all the ins and outs there are to decoupled flight and more. That was intense, dude. That was an exciting race.
Yeah. Great racing, and yeah, just like you mentioned, if you are a little bit uncomfortable not knowing how to start, yeah, there's a great solution for you at this point with what Shaq New's doing. So come take part.
Do you want to talk to Keith and ask him how he experienced that?
Yeah, let's definitely do that.
Oh boy, Keith, we want to know all about what you've experienced during that collision in the chute.
Just pressure to the ground, really. I was pushed down, and there's nothing I could have done.
Were you behind Flip? Were you trying to overtake him, or what did you see as you entered the chute?
I saw nothing, to be fair. I just felt pressure down, and I was like, "Yep, that's it. I'm done."
That's painful. So
great race there. Anyways, that was so close. It's unfortunate it had to end that way.
It is what it is. I'll try it again.
Hell yeah, man.
Another chance.
You're looking at a third spot, I believe, on the world record list on SCR. Were you flying a P52 in that?
Yeah, that's a P52.
So how would you compare the Mustang to a P52? I mean, it's worlds difference, but how is it racing?
I guess the Mustang's worse top thrusters are big influence in doing the struts.
Yeah. Are you? What about the strafe up? Like, it's really strong, right?
It's extremely strong. You need to be careful.
Yeah. You end up headbutting things.
Yeah, exactly.
All right, man. Well, look forward to your performance in Heat 3 coming up. Get yourself ready and kick some ass.
Yep. Thank you very much.
I can't wait to
awesome.
watch this.
Another relatively new face to the XGR racing scene and doing awesome things already. It's great to see.
I love it, dude. The scene is growing every day, and that is just so cool. It's there are some guys that have been around for a while, and they're really knocking it out the park. But then it doesn't get stale because there are so many new joiners, and everybody seems to really step up their game, showing that everyone can do it, right? It doesn't matter even if you're on keyboard, mouse, or on sticks. Even in the student showdown today, we had someone coming in second place, which is keyboard, mouse. One name we haven't seen in a while is Arkansand, racing keyboard and mouse as well. It's possible.
Absolutely, yeah. Take do the best with what you're given, what you have to work with, and you can do amazing things. There's nothing holding you back besides your own time spent and your own effort.
Absolutely. So we've got Sharkbait and Red Wolf on the first strut. Red Wolf on the right, which is closest to the turn. So we'll watch all these guys as they take off and make their way to the first corner and down into the slalom. Seeing some really cool paint jobs. The Mustang comes with the Icebreaker paint job, which is really cool. I think it's the Icebreaker one.
It's similar to it, I think. At least
10 seconds.
10 seconds.
10 seconds to go. It'll be really interesting to see if Splen can make it a little further in a lap this time, unfortunately, without a collision. Definitely expecting him to make it to a pro main, and so far he's had some bad luck in these 2 heat races we've done so far.
Yeah, we see the same from him in the Stanton Cup as well. He's yet to really prove himself. There they are. They're off. Red Bull a little quicker than Sharkbait. We see the wings folding as all the racers, raise their gear. Keith doesn't make it past the strut. Red Wolf is down. Sharkbait is in third. Neojet overtaking him. We're gonna dip down. Oh, okay. We'll switch camera there as we check out who first approaches the skyscraper alley. We'll have you
Not sure
take
what
over.
happened on the start there with Splen. I'm not sure if he didn't get the start indication or something, but unfortunately he didn't go. We've got Red Wolf and Sharkbait slugging it out at the end of the slalom, heading into Skyscraper Alley currently, neck and neck. Sharkbait looks like he's taking a little bit of a lead over Red at this point, heading into Cargo Valley. Still very, very close. A lot of separation between the first two and Speedweed in third place as they head into the first of the chutes. And they are entering the chutes here, coming down. Sharkbait still maintaining the lead over Red, but it is anything but over at this point.
Stick with them through chute 2 because we've lost Cam 1.
Okay. So Shark entering the fold section first. Red going really wide. I'm not sure what happened. Red is just streaking off into the distance. Not sure if Red lost control, clipped something. So at this point, Speedweed's closed up the gap big time. Speedweed is right on Sharkbait's tail as we head down the last turn of the fold section, heading into the chute number 2. Let's see who has the most boost available. Sharkbait in the lead by maybe 50 meters. We're cruising down alongside them. Speed actually closing the gap a little bit. Sharkbait braking early or running out of boost, one of the two. Sharkbait going into Skid Row.
So is Speed.
And I believe it's Sharkbait across the line first. We'll have to get confirmation on that, but just by a hair.
That was so close.
Great job to Speed to catch up during that lap. Speed was quite a ways back earlier on during that lap.
That was really awesome to see. We were on board with Speed there going through Skid Row, and we never even saw Sharkbait. We'll have to get confirmation from our race director. It does look, if we're looking on the scoreboard, that Sharkbait made it through just a little bit before speed. Not by much, though.
Yeah, just by basically a Mustang's length. Very,
Yeah,
very,
that's right.
very close finish.
Skid Row is an interesting one as well because you can be ahead, but if you're too fast, it'll take you longer to slow down, stop, and dip underneath the station to the finish line. And so it's a really easy turn to lose it, even when you're ahead. We'll wait for confirmation and take a look at the results as soon as our race director, Louis, tells us that we're good to go.
One thing about Skid Row as well, too, is you can really use, depending on the ship, you can really use the aerodynamics of the ship as a braking
also
surface
set.
as well.
Yeah, I agree with you there. That's really exciting. Yeah, we're having some. Yeah, there we go. The results are updating. So Sharkbait with a time of 2 minutes and 6 seconds. Think about it, right? We were looking at 1 minute 55 from Shaqnu, which really does show you that a 2 minute 6 is not going to cut it for a pro main. But Shark made it in, so a big congratulations to him. We should have a look at what he saw, if he had speed in his side at any point at all. It's actually been a while since we had Shark race with us.
Yeah.
So let's go ahead and pull him up. Shark, congratulations on winning a heat. We haven't seen you race with us for a little bit. Is it good to be back?
It is good to be back. I'm rusty, and this thing flies like a fish. It's not a good experience, so it's been a fun one. I didn't expect to be winning.
Well, you did good, dude. Did you see Speedweed at all when you were racing through the chutes, or?
I was very nervous. I kept seeing him, and he kept getting closer, and I knew that he was coming. And I almost, honestly, I knew how much practice he had put in, and I have not. I almost was just like, yeah, I'll pull back. But then I was like, nah, he's got to earn it.
At what point do you start braking as you go for Skid Row, the final turn down, dipping down?
Braking? What? No, you just full send into the turn with nothing but boost.
Right, and I guess, strafe up becomes braking at some point.
Yeah, that's true. I feel like I cut that pretty tight. I don't like to do like just an up to down.
I think we lost you there, Shark.
I forgot it's push to talk. I was using my hands. I don't go like just up to down with that like rotation. I go kind of like down to the right to give myself a little bit more room to play with it. I don't like shoot out too far, which I feel like really helps me keep that tight.
Yeah, great job, man. That was fun to watch you guys slug it out, even from the section where he really caught you during the first shoot, all the way to the finish. There it was neck and neck.
Yeah, I had no idea how close he was. Like for most of it, it was like you go around those few turns where you like do a 180, and every time I was like, oh, there he is. Oh, there he is. Crap.
What are your plans for tackling Shaqnu? He puts down a time of 1:55. He put down a time of 2 minutes and 6. Any ideas? Any plans?
At the current moment, no thoughts. I have a little while though, so that now it's time to formulate plans. I didn't expect to get this far.
That's excellent, man. Well, look forward to it.
We'll see. Go faster, I guess, is my strat.
Right, yeah, and be mindful of the strafe up. She's powerful.
Yeah, no doubt.
Good luck. Good luck in your strategizing over the next few minutes.
Great. Big brain time.
We've got one more heat to go. I just got confirmation as well. So on the last heat, right, we had Splen waiting around on the start-finish line before taking off. What did he do in the meantime? Because he waited, he took out a cameraman. So be mindful, everybody. Don't stay back. Of course, it makes sense. You want to be safe. But yeah, do be mindful. In this case, we're talking about myself, of course. I cut the track well after I imagined everybody would have left, but we had Splen then stay behind and collecting myself in the process. So that's unfortunate. He tries to be calm and or safe rather, and he ends up collecting a cameraman. It's been awesome seeing the shots from Turkin and Fused and Double as well. We've positioned them in some really exciting parts of the track. As we're waiting for the next heat to start, we'll take a moment and just give them a second to shine. So if we switch to my camera marble, we've got here around Cargo Valley, just to put some perspective in where the cameramen are. Here we've got Infused down in the bottom, giving you a beautiful angle through Cargo Valley. And if we continue on down in Skyscraper Alley, sorry, it's Cargo Valley, right? I keep getting them wrong.
Correct. Yep. Cargo Valley and Skyscraper Alley.
Who named these turns anyway?
A real doofus.
Here's Turkin on the sky pad here. This is where the racers are making their way through Skyscraper Alley. And we've got Double J on top on chute number 1. We asked him to leave the party because party markers are cluttering, and in a tight space like this, you don't really want them obscuring the route. We'll never find him. Let's switch to Double J's camera marble, and we'll watch the Reliant make its way to him. If we ever find it, this is gonna be a tough one. I mean, oh, there he is. Oh, he is tiny. Let's swap cameras here and just see that, right? We actually had him dropped off so he wouldn't have a ship here. Thank you, Double J, for your service. God damn, we talk about this all the time, the perception of speed in Star Citizen, and this again does a great job at portraying, demonstrating how large things are and why things look slow when they aren't very close to you.
Correct, yeah, and how much extra room you have compared to what you think, right? Racers going down these chutes, it feels very, very tight. But even look at something, with a wider wingspan like the Reliant here, and still got plenty of room to make its way down the chute.
Yeah, absolutely. So we've got one more heat remaining. Heat number 4 of the day, and then we'll head for the AM main, followed by the Pro main. And let's have a look at the lineup here.
Got several racers expected to make it to the Pro main and only one more chance to make it. It's going to be very interesting to see if that's Splen that makes it through, Speedweed, Neojet, Prime, any of our racers here that are more than capable of making it to the Pro main.
Absolutely.
Keith, of course.
God, who would you put your money on? Speedweed, Neojet, or Splen? Splen is a bit further back. Speed got close.
And it's, I'm not sure. I figure at this point, Splen's probably going to be very fired up. So I don't know if that's going to motivate him and get him really focused and make him pull this off, or it's going to cause him to make mistakes because he's a little bit too fired up about the bad luck he's had so far.
He has got to be fired up. If he wants a chance at making it to the Pro, there is but one way, and it is forward at full speed. Send it, Splen. You got this. Speedweed, though, got very close. So I guess if I had to put money on a racer here, it would be
10 seconds. 10 seconds.
All right, we'll make our way to the side here again. And watch these guys whip past. Good luck, racers. Heat number 4.
Yep, great. Good luck to all the racers. Make it happen.
The Mustangs aren't disappointing, though. They look beautiful. There they are, off. Speedweed a little quicker, but taking more of a vertical launch than Neo, who launched straight forward. I'm going to sit here for a while and wait for all the racers to go past. Splen has gone past as well. It looks like Neojet and Speed are the first ones to dip. Let's watch them go through the slalom.
This is Splen's opportunity right now. Has made it through the first part of the track clean for the first time.
Speed in the lead.
Just got one obstacle, one racer in the way, being Speedweed up in the lead.
We've got Splen in second place, very close behind as they make their way now to Skyscraper Alley. Through they go. And up now to Cargo Valley. Speed still in the lead with about 400 meters between Splen in second place. There they go, onwards to the chute.
There's obviously some implications here as far as boost amount and how much you have available to use. So Splen, as the time goes on, is running out of opportunities to close the gap, but he has been closing it, it seems. Definitely getting closer at this point, heading down the first of the chutes. Looks like there's about 500 to 600 meters difference between Speedweed in first and Splen in second as they enter the fold section.
I'm hearing the
a little bit
racers.
tighter.
I'm hearing the racers whip past, and I just gotta say the Mustang has a beautiful flyby sound.
Splen's closed it up to probably 50 meters at this point. Definitely closing. We're going into the last straight here, though. Opportunities are dwindling for Splen to take over the lead.
They're watching.
Speedweed just ahead.
They're coming this
Splen
way.
is closing. A little more speed for Splen.
Speed is so close now to Splen. There's not much between them. It all comes down to who makes this turn a little better. Still, I think it is Speed in the lead. We'll have to wait for confirmation from our race director as they dip down to Skid Row. Wow.
That had to have been a photo finish. I didn't quite get an angle of it, but yeah, we'll wait for confirmation from our race director to see who exactly got their nose over the line first. Very, very good racing.
Wow, the Reliant as a camera ship struggles to stick with these guys as they make their way down Skid Row. It looks like we may have Splen finishing in first place over Speedweed. That means that Splen will have overtaken Speed during Skid Row, which was very, very close.
Yeah, if he managed to pull off that last corner, that was the last opportunity. But yeah, there were still maybe 25 to 50 meters in between at the end of the second chute. So that was the last chance for Splen to make it happen. So we'll see if that's actually what happened.
We'll wait for confirmation before we post the results. Just waiting for Luigi, our race director, to confirm that Splen is indeed the winner with a time of 1:59.9. That means there was about 5/10 between them as they cross the finish. In the meantime, we'll keep chatting about...
Winner, Heat 4.
Splen is the winner of Heat 4. Let's get the results up and check in with Splen as well. Splen, I gotta say, you had to start from the middle of the pack there. You've sent it, I want to bet, and you made your way, you crawled your way all the way back to the front and overtook Speed for the win in the final turn. What was going through your head?
Well, to start off, I asked the chat if I should just play it safe and qualify for AM or go for Pro, and they said Pro, so I had to push it. What was going through my head is it was what I've known from the beginning. I'm going to take the turns better. I know the ship up and down. I know how to take these turns in atmosphere. Little secret of mine. And that's where I did the overtake. I knew that was going to be the key. So I waited for that moment, stayed behind him, and when the big turns on the 180s came, that's where I took it.
Good job, man. That was really
Yeah,
cool.
great job.
And yeah, big shout out to your Twitch channel as well. If anybody loves watching time trial records being broken, go check out Splen Shepherd on Twitch. Congratulations. I'm so happy to see you make it to the Pro Main. I feel like it's been forever since you've raised the Pro Main. It must have been Beijini Blitz with Osasha's and Sharkbait.
I think that was I think we did an XGR club track after one, but yeah,
okay.
Yeah, I think that was one of those two. Yep.
Oh, that's awesome, man. I look forward to it. Anything you can tell us about your strategy for knocking Shacknu out of the way?
Just stay alive, baby. We got 8 laps of endurance on this track, and that's no joke. It's going to be fuel, it's going to be maneuverability, and not hitting each other because we're big. So it's going to be a fun thing to watch. Hopefully I'll last a little longer than I did in the first 3 heats. Look forward to it.
Why'd you aim for me, by the way?
Dude, I didn't see you. It was soup. It was nameplate soup. I'm sorry.
Dude. No, that's all good. That's definitely something we need to work on. Wink, wink, CIG. Let's get those party markers toggleable as they should be. But Splen, congrats again, and look forward to your performance in the Pro Main. Give him hell.
All right, thank you. Thanks for the shout out.
Yeah,
see you guys later.
good luck.
Yeah, Splen has been coming back to play Star Citizen more and more since I think he had a bit of a break. He was setting lots of time trial world records in Arena Commander, took a bit of a break, then joined us again with XGR and started live racing. And you mentioned it earlier, Osashas. Remind everybody the amazing battle between Shacknu and Splen that's going on right now.
Yeah, like I mentioned on SCR.GG time trial website for all of our tracks and other organizations' tracks, Splend and Shacknu have been slugging it out by the hundredths of a second for a lot of these world record time trials. So it's been really fun to watch not only the live racing, but the time trial battle going on back and forth. Especially big shout out to the Snake Pit. Those guys have been back and forth dozens and dozens of times at this point, just pushing the limits further and further. Really, really fun to watch.
It's I often lack the words to explain how cool it is, the period that we're in right now with Star Citizen. We've got XGR hosting races. We've got SCR putting all the racetracks up on a website where people can knock them out in their own time and setting world records. And you mentioned it, Shacknu and Splendor, back and forth constantly. You know, he sets a world record and he overtakes it, and then we feel like, okay, we're at the limit now. And then they knock off another second, and then another 10, and then a tenth of a second. And it feels for me very much like Trackmania level. You know, there's a lot of YouTube videos on there for anybody that knows, where they describe world records being broken on something like Trackmania, and you just watch these guys knock off a tenth of a second here and there, and this feels it's so reminiscent of that. And I can't believe that we're doing that already in this alpha.
Yeah, the cool thing is they're feeding off each other, right? So all of these runs have to be posted in video to SCR. So they're literally observing each other every single time the other one-ups the other one, and checking out tiny little differences in strategy, maybe just a specific corner, how tight they're taking it, how wide they're taking it, speeds, elevations, everything. Yeah. And just back and forth, feeding off each other to push the limits closer and closer to what is actually the theoretical max limit of any given track.
A lot of it comes down to strategy as well, because if I look at myself, at some point I think, you know, I'm pretty efficient, but then you watch these guys go and they find different ways to take the track. You know, with the Snake Pit, it is, you're limited by G-loading, but then they find a way to flip around and negatively push through a turn to offload some of those G's again, and because of that they can go faster. And it's like, damn, who thinks of that? It's just so cool. And then now with the slalom here on Caplan Stadium, we started with the arrow, just doing it like a normal airplane, right? Just rolling left, rolling right. Then you realized, or maybe it was Arkansas who did it first, I don't know. Go corkscrew through it. Just keep rolling, keep rolling, keep rolling. And then now Shacknu, he's just rolling on one side and then going positive G, negative G, positive G, negative G, just pushing through it. And we've yet to find out, don't we, what is actually faster, and does it depend on the ship? A P-52, for example, might be faster with one than a Mustang. We don't yet know. I look at Shacknu and how he does the Dolphin, and I think to myself, that's faster. You have just been practicing the other day, and you think the corkscrew might be faster.
Yeah, and not convinced either way, right? I think that it's a really they're really competitive with each other, and I think there has to be a lot of testing and research done to see what's the best. And the beautiful thing is we have tons of tracks like Caplan Stadium, everything else, where the theoretical maxes have yet to actually be pushed. So there's so much theory crafting and testing and fun time trialing to be done before a lot of these are really pushed to the limit. And then, of course, we're going to have upcoming patches that are going to throw everything on its head and change everything, and we can do it all over again, which is awesome.
Yeah, absolutely. That's going to be really fun. We've had this a few times where the leaderboards reset because of changes, and I guess while we're waiting for the AM main to set up, we can talk about master modes a little bit. There's a lot we don't know yet, but we are excited to experiment and experience these changes that are coming, because they are a few. Set to really change the flight experience of Star Citizen in many ways. What are your feelings? We've had some time to digest it. How do you feel about it with what you know?
Yeah, I know a lot of people have panicked or had various reactions. I'm pretty calm about it. I think we're going to see a pretty big change in how how it feels to us in some way, shape, or form. But I'm pretty comforted knowing that even after recent statements that we've gotten after the fact that the CIG devs are very, very aware of racers and wanting to make sure that they take care of racing in the proper form. So I don't think we're going to get everything ruined and our whole worlds are going to end. So I think at this point, It's just one of those things. Stay calm, and we'll see what we get, and we'll adapt to the situation. But I think it'll be good in the end.
If there is something you could tell CIG in terms of what you'd like to see, or something you'd like to preserve, maybe, if that's the right word, what would that be?
We need to be able to have reasonable speeds while maintaining the ability to use boost. That's the big thing for me. It just can't be too slow, or we can't be asked to go over to QCM, in my opinion, because no boost racing is very fun, but I don't think that's optimal to have that as the only form of racing, because boost management comes into play in so many ways and adds to so much nuance and the skill ceiling of racing, and it's so much fun to utilize that as well. So we need some ability to still be able to go decent speeds and still have access to boost to really separate folks that are managing that resource well.
Yeah, I guess the easiest way for CIG to achieve this is to balance racing ships in such a way to make sure that they are what you say reasonable speeds. That's so relative of a term, right? It's really difficult.
Correct.
Depends on where you are. And that's the problem with SCM, I guess. When you go into a vacuum, the reasonable speed is so different from an atmosphere. So it's a tough one. But I feel you completely. Yeah. So looking at the lineups here, we can have a look, Marble, at the cameras that we're setting up. Or at the grid we're setting up, forgive me. It looks like we've got NeoJet in the front here. Followed in second place, just on to his left is Kyle the Kid. Then in third place, we'll scroll over there, appears to be Prime, followed by Connor on the right, his left. Then we've got Kelsar and Keith. And we'll have to see if there are more still lining up.
Yeah, so just a reiteration for all of our viewers, these will be the folks that finished one of those heat races and thus qualified for the AM main. So there'll still be a winner to this race and some prestige on the line, but we'll be waiting for the pro race after this event. And this will be 4 laps with a maximum time of 10 minutes.
Yeah, that's a really good point. There are time limits to these races. For the heat, it was just 2 minutes and 30 seconds for 1 lap. And if you extrapolate that across 4 minutes, you get 10 minutes, of course. And you can't slow boat it home, that's for sure.
No, there's definitely some wiggle room, but yeah, absolutely, you still got to be on the move and putting in a decent amount of speed, a decent time to be able to actually finish within a lot of time limit.
That's right. So we got 40 seconds until the AM main. For those wondering, we often talk about bragging rights. They come in the shape of Discord roles. We're very active as a community on Discord, and welcome you to come join us. If you finish an AM main race, you will be awarded with the AM Racer tag. You're now an amateur racer. If you if you finish a pro main, you'll be awarded with the Pro Racer tag. If you win the pro race, you are a race winner.
Always cool to have the prestige or something
Hell
like that.
yeah.
It's fun things to earn, right? Something to shoot for, cool goals to have. Always love things like that.
Shifty Marine makes a really good point in terms of boost and what it does to a race. It's a bit like Formula One and their battery energy deployment. It's true. I will say in Star Citizen, I feel like boost has a really big impact on some ships, maybe even too large. It's of course binary, so you click it, it comes on, and it often doubles your Gs, if not more.
10 seconds.
And one would ask if boost should be that strong. It's a conversation for another time, maybe. We've got speed then. Yeah, Roger, race director. We've got speed in second place on the strut next to Red Wolf. We'll watch these guys go head to head. I know Red Wolf was hoping to get his Pro Racer tag today, already having achieved the AM Racer tag. Looks like that isn't in the bag for him today, but some additional bragging rights for sure. Let's see who reacts
consolation
quicker.
prize is an AM race win for sure.
Hell yeah. There they go. Instantly, it looks like Red Wolf and Speed set off at the same time. Red Wolf with the inside line will have less of a closing distance to the slaloms. Let's watch them come through and see who takes it faster. It looks like Speedweed has overtaken Red Wolf through the slalom as he takes the lead. There is about 1 strut of a gap between Speed and Red. We'll see if that gap grows. It does look like the gap is growing because we aren't seeing Red Wolf just yet as Speedweed makes his way through Skyscraper Alley now and up to Cargo Valley. Who is in second place? I am seeing nobody yet. There is Red Wolf. He just exited. Prime in third.
Yep, Red in second, Prime in third. Big gap between first and second. I hope Speedweed is recognizing that this is a 4-lap race, right? Take it easy, don't make any mistakes. But so far, so good. Keeping it clean as he heads into chute number 1.
There's Prime out of Cargo Valley. Extremely close battle for third and fourth place there as they're all whipping past. Look at that, through the chute, looking gorgeous as ever as they make their way through the fold. Who's in the lead?
Speedweed making his way into the fold section here.
Oh!
It is a long way back to Cy Prime in second.
Forgive me, ignore that.
No, Speed heading over the top. Oh, Neojet clips the end of chute number 1, so Neojet is out. Speedweed making his way down into the second chute. Trying to get an eyeball on second again here. Looks like Keith is there. So we're trying to catch you.
We're ready to pick them up coming out of the chute here. We've got Speedweed heading for the fold. Here he comes. Rolling right and dipping down, taking it real gentle and very tight as he makes his way around. We've got Prime then in second, is that right? As he makes his way down now also to Skid Row. Beautiful. What a gap for Speedweed. Kyle the Kid in a very close third.
So yeah, Kyle catching a little bit on Prime. Connor in fourth at the moment. There's decent gaps between all of these racers right now as they try to keep it clean.
There's Speedweed beautifully dolphing through the slalom with the Mustang Gamma, looking very gorgeous. Beautiful paint job. And
at this point, it seems like Speedweed has the speed as he continues to pull away from second place. Prime in second, nearing the end of the slalom. Kyle the Kid in third. Connor looks like he's actually catching up to Kyle the Kid. So it looks like we're starting to have a battle for third place. Speedweed entering chute number 1. Still keeping it clean at this point. No issues thus far. Down to the end of the chute number 1, making his way into the fold. I'm curious as if he is slowing it up a little bit now, or he's just trying to keep his groove. I know Speedweed can be sensitive sometimes to trying to change it up a little bit, so he might just be trying to stay in his time trial mode, stay in the zone, not make any mistakes. Here comes Cy Prime in second, making his way to the fold as Speedweed makes his way into chute number 2, so an entire obstacle ahead of Cy Prime in second.
Just wanted to add as well that for Speed's first lap, we're looking at a time of 2 minutes. That's 5 seconds slower than the first heat win of the day. Here he comes down now through Skid Row for a second time as he enters lap number 3. So that's 2 more laps remaining for Speedweed and nobody behind him just yet. What a gap.
Oh, and we lose Connor in fourth. Clipped the entry to chute number 2. So Connor, who was putting pressure on Kyle the Kid, is now out. So we've got big gaps between first, second, third, and fourth at this point.
We're waiting for Speedweed in the slaloms then as he's making his way through, making it look ever majestic. There he goes. Through the slalom, super fast, adapting, I want to say, Shacknew's strategy and into Skyscraper Valley. We'll wait for the rest to come up as well. Let's see how close the battle still is. We've got a whole bunch of DNFs. We've got Connor out, Red Wolf, Neojet, and Kelsar.
Yeah, at this point, Speed has just extended it out to what I'm estimating about a 7-kilometer lead over second place. So the lead for first place is absolutely massive.
Yeah,
this is
good job.
Speedweed's race to lose at this point.
Absolutely. Good job by Speedweed. Also by Prime. Not having a lot of racing under his belt recently. It's really good to see him back at Caplan Stadium, hammering it out and staying alive. Stay alive, Prime.
Absolutely. Get a good finish on the board and just be that much more comfortable coming into the next race we have.
We're waiting for Speedweed then, through the fold, making it look very majestic indeed. It's your favorite part of the track, I think.
Yeah, it's just such a different way to do an obstacle where you're having these multiple vertical levels back and forth. There's a lot of strategy to executing it right and trying to limit the amount of space you're actually taking up as you're executing all these corners.
Absolutely. Nobody in the chute then still. We're waiting for Prime there as he enters the chutes finally. What a gap to first place.
Kyle the Kid in third, just barely dropping down to the last section of the fold, about to enter the second chute. Ooh, almost clipped Keith there on Keith's entry into the fold. That was a little close. If I'm not mistaken, this should be final lap for Speedweed for this.
Absolutely.
This AM main.
That's right. Yep, he is looking at a total time of 6 minutes and 4 seconds in his fourth lap now, out of 4. As he makes his way through Skyscraper Valley and onto Cargo Valley. I don't know what my favorite part is of this track. I do love the fold. It's probably the part of the track that feels most satisfying when you whip through it.
Yeah, it's really fun. I also really like the entry to the slalom. That corner that you come with a lot of speed, you're making a right-hand corner down and trying to line up just right with the slalom. That's really fun when you can execute it perfectly.
I hate it because it makes me feel frantic, because I'm always thinking I'm going to be, overspeeding, already applying too much G-loading while we're going through it. And that's my concern with that turn.
Yeah, it makes sense.
Speed then now exiting the fold and making his way to the final chute, the second chute. And that means he is one trench run and turn away from winning the AM main, as this is the final lap. We'll watch him dip down. There he goes, down through the final turn and across the finish line.
And I'm not seeing Prime, so we may have lost Prime on the previous lap and not quite caught it.
Oh, we collided with somebody again.
I see Keith Maxwell spinning out of control, so I'm assuming that was the case.
Oh boy. Well, if that is the case, he came in second place. That's for our race director. Because he was on the start finish. So Luigi, race director, confirm for your information. If Keith did just blow up on a collision, that was with the cameraman, and he finished in second place.
I think he was just spectating at that point, though. So yeah, I think it was actually Kyle the Kid coming in second after Cy Prime dropped out.
Roger. Excellent. Okay, gotcha.
Well, great job to Speedweed taking a really comfortable, smooth, uneventful win in that AM main. That's very out of character for Speedweed. I know I give him some guff sometimes for being a little crazy, but he's definitely put in the work. He was one of those I mentioned last night that was putting in the practice, so he seems very comfortable on the track and made it happen here in the AM main.
Yeah, what happened to him today is what happened to me on the last XGR Club Track race. I just could not, just missed out the pro, and managed to have a good time in the AM main at least. But
end of AM race, Keith Maxwell was actually in the second chute, didn't finish last.
Roger that. Okay, so I'm good. I don't need to feel bad. But yeah, really pleased for Speedweed. I bet you he's feeling similar to how I was feeling after winning the AM main in the club track. So I think we might as well just check in with him and see how he feels. Good job, Speedweed, for winning the AM main of the day. I must bet that you're feeling a little sad about missing out on the pro. What are your feelings?
Yeah, well, you would be about right. Yeah, I don't know. I honestly don't care too much about the AM finish, but my chest still hurts like a motherfucker, so there's that.
What happened during the heats then? Just to take a step back, you failed to make it into the pro main. Is there anything in particular standing out?
First heat, I was completely thrown out by the fact that the second we took off, my performance tanked completely. I was not ready for that. Second, I just kept dodging everyone and I just ate somebody's ass, I think. Third one, I don't even remember. Oh yeah, it was Shark. That one was dope. He was riding his ass the whole way.
You got some good footage at least.
Well, actually, that's the one race I forgot to record like a dumbass.
Oh no, that happens.
And yeah, and
to
the
the
last
best
one I
of
did
us.
not see Splat anywhere, so I assume he was like right in my ass or next to me or something.
Yeah, you just missed out. It was on Skid Row, the final turn.
Yeah.
Yeah, I mean, to be honest, I didn't expect to perform super well on this track. I haven't flown this track competitively before at all. I missed out on the first races. I never fly this ship, and I only had like one night of practice in, so yeah.
Gotcha.
Well, either way, great job. I mean, you were definitely pro main material. Just unfortunately missed out just barely, but at least you got the consolation of just absolutely dominating the AM main. I mean, that was a clinic you put on there.
Yeah, I mean, it's Star Citizen. Shit happens, you know. It's all good.
Yep.
Now you mentioned it. You obviously already have a pro racer rank. So I guess AM bragging rights don't hit the same way.
Yeah, no, not really. But hey, at least someone else can get the new role, maybe.
Yeah, probably. For sure. Well, anyway, thank you so much for racing as always. It's a pleasure to see you finish one and win the AM main at least. So join us as we spectate the pro race. And who are you rooting for?
Who am I rooting for? Shark.
Yeah?
All the way.
Oh, brilliant. Okay, that'll make him feel good. That'll give him an extra 10th off.
All right, boys.
Brilliant.
Rock on.
Thank you, Speed. Good luck.
Yeah, great job.
Exciting. I'm making my way back to the track as we get ready for the pro main. Very, very excited about that. I can't wait. 8 laps. Shark starts in 3rd, right? He won heat number 3.
Yes, I believe so. Yep. Yeah, that's correct.
Okay.
Yeah, this one, I think these guys are going to have to employ a little bit different strategy than they did in the heats, right? We've got 8 laps coming up. That's an absolute slog through this course, trying to run 8 laps and not make any mistakes, especially 8 laps through the slalom, trying to not clip anything. So we'll see what the pace of these guys look like, especially I'm looking at Splen and Shaqnu, who seem to have had the fastest pace, throughout today and previously. Let's see how close to that pace they maintain as they try to make it around and survive 8 laps on this challenging course.
Hell yeah, man. Couldn't agree more. All right, Osage, just provide some exciting B-roll for everybody as we just take a very small break as we set up for the pro main of the day. This is where we have 8 laps, and the winner gets a pro race, a race winner tag if they haven't already. And of course, most importantly, provided by CIG, the Avenger Titan starter pack with LTI, which is always exciting. We'll be right back. 30K. That's how things roll sometimes. You're getting some beautiful imagery still from Osashas, who's flying around client side. I got a challenge for you, Osashas. Hit the station and show everybody what it feels like. Oh, too late.
Oh, too late.
All right. This is how we roll. And it is for good reason. It is to maintain the suspense for the pro main for just a little bit longer. We're going to go ahead and you can switch to our cameras, Marble, and give everybody some B-roll to look at as we launch back into game and get set up again. So we'll just keep chatting and have a good time while we set up. It's gonna be a little while, so don't go anywhere. But the pro main is gonna promise to be exciting because there's a big gap between the AM and the pro, right? Because the fastest AM is slower than the fastest pro racer.
Yes, in theory, right?
In theory.
Proving that, it wasn't, somebody that should have been there that just had, a really bad day or something like that. But yeah.
Yeah, absolutely. And that's going to be really exciting to see. I wonder what the gap is going to be. Shaq if he maintains the lead off the bat, is going to have a really good he's just faster than everybody by a second or so. So it'll be really interesting to see if he can maintain that, or if he doesn't make it through the slaloms first, how he will adapt to what lies ahead of him. Big shout out to everybody for joining. Just want to say a big thank you to everybody. Hope you're enjoying the show. Apologies for the delay. We're reforming the party and getting back in game. We know this is how Star Citizen rolls for now, so we'll roll with the punches. Sorry, Ty, you were saying.
I was just going to say no slant to Splen or Shaq either one of them, but I think whichever one gets out to a comfy lead first is going to have a big advantage, because both of them we've seen issues with in the past when it comes to being pressured and also trying to chase someone closely. They're very, very, very fast pilots, but racing can be very different from time trialing, right? So I think whichever one of them gets some clear track and a lead and can kind of get a lack of pressure, they're going to fall into that time trial zone and be really comfortable.
Yeah.
So then at that point, it'll just be who can make the least mistake.
That is the great thing about it. I mean, the fact that we're racing for 8 laps is just long enough. Time limit is 20 minutes. I guess someone help me with the math here. If Shaq is doing a lap in 1:55 standing start, so take away another second or at least like 1:54. I mean, he's obviously not going to need 20 minutes.
No, it was like 15-ish. Something, whatever.
Yeah. So that's going to be really interesting. We don't know what his world record time would be in a Gamma, because obviously on SCR, everyone is using P52s right now. So yeah, there's that, of course. What are your feelings about that, Osashas? SCR, world record website, brilliant website. I know, of course, we both love it very much, but it is encouraging a meta, right? Because everybody grabs the fastest ship to set a world record right now. What are your thoughts on that? Would you like to see split leaderboards, or are you happy with how it is?
Yeah, I mean, I like the prestige it offers right now. It's just this track in whatever ship, the fastest of the fast, you're the world record holder. But I do think there's some opportunity in the future, and I think we've had some talks about Diplomat, who's the creator of SCR.GG, about this as well, for maybe some different ship classes or different categorizations. For example, we have a couple of folks that help out a lot with XGR that love flying those big chunker ships, your Hercules, your Constellation, your Caterpillar.
Yeah.
And even those massive ships are actually pretty fun to send around some of these tracks. So it would be cool to have some leaderboard specific for those kind of ridiculous shenanigans and let those ships shine.
Yeah, exactly. We are in the process of putting some new tracks on SCR. We've been designing more tracks together with the community. We've got, first of all, Euro Trucker developing Caplan Freight Yards. It's a really small track it's like a go-kart track, but it is beautiful. It is such a good track. And to make this interesting, it was designed for the MPUV. And so when we put this on SCR, it will be listed as MPUV only. That doesn't stop you from taking like a Razor through it, or a P52 or a Mustang, because they are equally amounts of fun through there. I promise you, it really highlights how fast our racing ships really are. But it is meant for an MPUV. which is equally fun. You raced it the other day, and you were more thrilled than I expected.
I was pleasantly surprised. You look from the outside in, you're going a lot slower. It's just a tighter area. You're flying a silly little Argo cargo, right? But when you actually get on the track and start to play with all the nuances of how the Argo cargo flies, the tightness of the track, how low you are in some sections, and the tight, right? You're so close and scraping the belly on the ground almost. It is an absolute blast. So I can't wait for that to get up on scr.gg and start going in and setting some time trials for it.
Then we've got Speedweed creating a second track. We've got 2 of his tracks now that aren't on SCR yet. We've got Genesis Speedway. I think it's Genesis Speedway.
Yep.
And then we have his new track on Orison. We had another community day where we went through his design and we raced it all together. This is what we do. And we make suggestions and we come up with maybe things that could be better or different, or things we see as a challenge. And so we made a few tweaks to it, again, like we did with most of the other community designed tracks. And that's coming up as well. Now, I think this is called Australis Pinball is what the name will be, because the platform is an Australis platform, and Speedweed says it reminds him of a pinball machine. Do you call it a pinball machine?
Yeah, pinball machine. Yep.
And it's brilliant. He's so right. When he said that, I was like, yeah, that is exactly it. And so Australis Pinball, brilliant name and brilliant track. It's one of the other platforms that has lots of gates and has a lot of potential for cool tracks. So yeah, all of that is coming. That will be a track for all ships, and yeah, can't wait. It'll be nice to have some fresh tracks on the website.
Yeah, definitely. Just only awesome things to come. So
in the meantime, we're loading back into the game. So we're making our way back in. Party is reformed, and we'll keep on chatting away. Early on when we were racing, you really liked the Mustang, didn't you? You always been a fan.
Yeah, we mentioned this earlier, but the Mustang, its differences between non-boosted and boosted are actually pretty minor, especially compared to some racing ships, right? So it has very strong acceleration values on pretty much all of its thrusters without boost. But when you apply boost to the equation and then compare it to something like a P52 or a Razor, it just gets kind of dwarfed by them. That wasn't quite the case in the past, so it was really fun to take advantage of it. It has a really interesting flight profile too, where it likes to fly very, I call it linearly. So it likes to fly kind of point to point and then turn and point to point. So almost like if you were making, something polygon based, right? Lots of just point to point, but it's really fun in the way that it handles, very different from a lot of the other racing ships. Yeah,
that's a good point. I like the cockpit visibility in that ship as well, because it kind of feels like a racer. How do you explain that? It doesn't feel like a normal cockpit that we're used to. It feels like a spaceship cockpit. It's a little exotic almost, with lots of glass, lots of visibility, lots of downward visibility too on the sides of the cockpit, which is cool. And it just looks very racing.
Downturned wings, which I like, and I don't think you do, but I think it's cool. But
no, not a fan. That's the one thing I don't like so much. I don't like in any of the starships when the wings are kind of like angled down. I love the Anvil Hawk, for example, but even that, the wings are slightly too angled for me, if you will. I like it when a ship's got a real nice flat profile. That makes me happy. That's why I like the M50, but I do love the Razor as well. That's gonna be my favorite non-winged ship. I mean, I know it has wings, but small wings.
Yeah, actually thinking about it now too, that was something that you mentioned and we talked about for just a minute earlier, was master modes and how they may go, they've been talking about how they're keeping racing ships in mind and may go through and balance speeds for racing ships. Maybe an opportunity for the Mustang Gamma Omega to actually come back into the limelight, depending on how it gets balanced as far as its top speed and things like that.
Yeah.
Lots of changes to come for us in the coming months and years.
Marble, check this out. We've got everybody doing the walk of shame we mentioned earlier, and this is where you can see the true racer, right? We've got role players. Look at this. We've got lots of beautiful suits. We've got Prime with his red suit, Turrican dressed to work. Then we've got Jason looking very basic. Sorry, forgive me, infused. We've got Herbie again with the respawn ship. But then there's the racers. What are they wearing? As much weight saving as they can, which means nothing. Oh, Splen missed the ride as well. Oh, I'm sorry, Splen, that you just missed out. But yeah, anyway, this is the Walk of Shame. It's a part of how these things work. So we're just making our way back to the spaceport. We'll all grab our ships. We'll get lined up on the grid, and we'll watch these guys hammer it out in the pro main. 8 laps, winner takes all. One thing I'm really curious about with master modes is going to be quantum boost. This is something we didn't talk about enough yet, and I hope we will in the near future. I joined Space Tomato and Avenger 1 for a little interview, and Space Tomato mentioned how much he loves the idea of quantum boost, and I couldn't agree with him more. I'm so excited for how this will improve our stellar travel. I'm not sure what to call it, just the kind of the fast travel bits. Being able to look in any direction, click boost, and just fly through the gas clouds at supersonic speeds. I mean, supersonic is not actually the right term.
Yeah, I mean, we know what you mean. But.
Supersonic would be 1 meter per second if we're talking vacuum. But yeah, it's going to be exciting.
Obviously, I think it's going to be great for general gameplay and stuff. But you know what? I'm not guaranteeing anything because this is way out there. But there's always a chance with something quirky like that maybe there's some quirky, interesting way it could be incorporated into some kind of racing too. We never know. So we'll have to get our hands on and see how we can play with it. At the very least, it's going to be awesome for getting to those tracks that we don't have quantum markers directly to. Or maybe you just throw a baby QM that just has that, but not a full quantum drive, so you can use that to get to some of these tracks. So
that's awesome. That's what I'm really curious about as well. If we talk P52, P72, these are snub fighters. They don't have a quantum drive right now, which also would mean that they cannot enter QCM because they don't have a quantum drive, which then means that they are always forced to the SCM top speeds. So my hope is, and I'd like to think CIG knows what they're doing here and will probably do something like this. We know Yogi mentioned on Spectrum that he's interested in potentially having a system like this, giving the mini baby drives, as you mentioned, to these snub fighters so they can still do a little bit of a quantum boost, but also reach their unlocked speed potential, let's say.
Yeah, if I had to guess, I think that's probably what's going to happen. Of course, we don't know for sure, but that seems like the logical way for them to address that, and that'll be really cool. Especially if you can take those baby quantum drives and we can put them on a racer instead, right? Things like that. Yeah. Because we won't need that, and maybe it's just really, really light, lots of cost savings, so you can still have the benefit of going into QCM, doing the quantum boost, but also not having a big, fat, heavy quantum drive on.
Yeah. Would you say? I mean, this is gonna be a touchy one. Quantum boost. Does it stand a chance at a race? Do you think we should be quantum boosting around parts of a track, for example, if it's like a 0G thing?
Yeah, that's what I'm saying. Like for the potential of maybe it being utilized in some race, like maybe there's something there, but really we're gonna have to get hands on and kind of see our current tracks. Probably not, but yeah. I mean, like in my imagination, in my mind, like maybe there's some section of somewhere where you could tie two kind of sections of a track together with a quantum boost section in between or something like that. Like maybe there's something, we'll see. But always cool to have new toys to play with.
Even if it's not quantum boost, what about the potential of switching between flight modes, right? Because there will be that speed difference, which still feels really artificial to me, and that's the one thing I'm really unhappy about, how artificial it feels. But that might be potentially something for our races where you're flying an SEM around tight bits and then QCM around straights and fast bits.
Yeah, I mean, we've seen these guys push everything to the max limit they can possibly get out of every single time trial. So if it becomes the case where that is advantageous to unlock your speed and lose boost, for sure they'll be doing it, as long as it's not banned or something like that.
Yeah, absolutely.
I can definitely see that coming into play.
I will admit, you mentioned, no boost racing is fun. It can be really fun. It shouldn't be what it's all about, but I love when the boost, let's say the engine power that you have available is always the same. And so I can see QCM racing just being a thing on its own. You know, right now we would probably call it no boost racing, but in the future it could be termed QCM racing, I guess, which is pretty cool.
Yeah, for sure.
Yeah, so much speculation. I wonder how far they are with the system in terms of master modes. I think we know that it's very much in development for Squadron, right? So no idea when we will see it, but I am curious. And another thing we can talk about, one thing I'm really excited about is control surfaces. They're making some noise on control surfaces coming. That's gonna change everything up.
Yeah, I'll catch word that absolutely cannot wait for flight control surfaces.
Yeah, dude, that's oh man, I'm so excited for this. I want to make a video on control surfaces and again do some simulated, this is what I hope control surfaces will feel like, because oh man, there's so much potential there for one ship relying on control surfaces and one ship requiring VTOL, and how that changes the dynamic, not just for racing, but for flight in general and combat as well. There's so much potential to add variety and purpose to certain ships as well.
Yeah, that's like, we have handling profiles right now that are just based on the general aerodynamics of the ship, and then what you can get out of that. But adding flight control surfaces to the mix, we may have some come out of the woodworks that really, really shine. It's really going to change the handling profiles of any ship that has flight control surfaces on. Yeah,
absolutely. We are all starting to trickle back into the track right now. We've got a bunch of racers lining up. Our cameramen are getting back in position. So we've still got lots of daylight. That's the good thing about Crusader. It's very big, rotates a little slower than the other planets as a result. And I think daylight is sitting at about 2 hours for Crusader.
Yeah, I believe so. Yeah, everybody will know we're always fighting with daylight, trying to get racing done in a timely manner so we can manage to squeeze it all into daylight. But of course, sometimes we end up racing at night. It gets really, really tricky.
That's the little bit still that makes me feel like the touch of underground to XGR. It's it's like, you know, when it happens at Club Track and we race in the night, it kind of feels right. It just like, it feels right. It reminds me of, I think it's the Cutlass commercial. Isn't it the Cutlass commercial where the Popo is racing through the streets of R-Corp? I think it is.
Yeah, I think so. Yep.
That makes me feel, you know, XGR Underground. That's good. I like that. We've got Double J being dropped off by Infused, so our cameramen are getting in position. Our race director is here again. We've got yourself in place, Osasha's flying the Reliant, I presume.
The Reliant Core, which is, I'll still say it's not one of my favorite ships, but it's obviously amazing for capturing footage and stuff like that. So it's all the little workarounds we do.
Yeah, dude, that's another topic to cut into, and I'm sure something you're excited about too, the potential of drones.
Yeah, I think I want a little more for drones than probably the average folk as well.
Oh, you'll have to elaborate.
Yeah, so I mean, optimally for what we want for cinematography, we just want basically a drone with equal thruster profiles. You don't really feel wind resistance and stuff fast enough to keep up with the ships, and you don't have to fiddle with a lot.
Yeah.
Right? I mean, I would also like...
M7 or live.
Awesome. I would also like drones that had a little more physics to them, right? You're working on just vertical thrusters. You're having to fly it more akin to like a real-life drone nowadays. You're dealing with all sorts of the physics of trying to throw this thing around and not have everything just be so equal and even. I think that would be really, really fun. To
Would
be
you-
flying a drone kind of like we're flying ships in a competitive form, but
Yeah,
it's a lot to ask.
but hear me out though, right? So you want a drone to be a mini ship, right? Same control as the ships, I'm presuming? Strafes, lats, mains?
Not exactly. I would actually like it if it was more akin to like a modern day drone, right?
No!
With a big focus being on vertical thrusters and then using pitch and roll and yaw to maneuver the thing around. I think that would
here's
be
the
so
thing,
much fun.
right? I get you, but that's from like an experience perspective, right? That doesn't help you with filming because you'd be so limited. It's interesting.
Yeah, that's what I'm saying. I want two different things, right? I want both. I want my cake and I want to eat it.
Right, yeah, because we've got Formula One is experimenting with drones right now. They're putting normal drones out, and the footage always sucks because the cameras are pitching and they don't have a good gimbaled camera that can target a ship, or sorry, a racing car. So it's really hard to gimbal that camera onto a target because the we're 30K again.
No.
Oh no, we just got out here. Oh no.
Oh no.
Oh man. All right. Apologies, everybody. We've got another one. Somebody doesn't want us to race. Here we go again. We're gonna keep talking and have a good time. So yeah, there is a limitation with filming when you're talking about these kind of drones. I would definitely want proper 6 DOF. I do not want 1 DOF, whatever that's called.
I want to be like 4 DOF.
I guess.
But yeah. Yeah, for my filming, I want something just like we've talked about previously, right? Something that I'm not having to worry about on basically anything except making the best shot I could possibly do. But
yeah.
Fun little more like they could even, be more combat specific drones, but utilizing them for some of the physics of it and stuff would be a lot of fun in my opinion.
Here's what we can do. We can have drones that have ship controls. You just unbind everything else. Just only bind strafe up and down. Or no, only bind strafe up. So that's all. Then you've got your drone.
Yeah, but I wouldn't quite get everything I wanted, right? Like I want some of the things like the momentum of the drone, and correcting like that stuff that wouldn't be good for necessarily filming exactly right, fighting some more of the physics of it.
Sure. No,
Like,
but yeah.
Everybody thinks like a modern day drone, you just turn it and it just whips on a dime. No, like you feel the weight of the thing. You have to manage, the physics of the thing actually as it's drifting along, right? Depending on the power of your motors, the size of your props, the weight of your drone.
Yeah.
So all those things come into play, and it's really fun to manipulate that.
Yeah, I got you. How much thrust power do you use on a drone to do your rotationals? I bet you if you didn't touch your throttle and you only did your rotationals, you would still just drop like out of the sky, right? Like just the rotational power, adjusting the props to achieve that rotation wouldn't be enough to keep it in the air or anything, right?
No, not really. Yeah, and typically when you're flipping, like say you're doing a roll and upside down, you'll actually drop the throttle to zero during that maneuver, so you're not pulling yourself to the ground.
Yeah, that's a good point. Rad is asking if people can sit on the slaloms. Yeah, you can touch it all. Sit on it. You can be dropped off. We had a really exciting Caplan Stadium race day with ground vehicles closer to the beginning of XGR, and lots of people would fall down with their cars and hit them. Sometimes they would be saved by it, and sometimes they wouldn't.
I would only ask if you're sitting on the slalom, please leave the party after you get in position, just so we're not adding a party marker there for the racers to have to fight with.
Yeah, we encourage nobody to show up at all, to be quite honest. We've learned that the fewer spectators, the fewer unnecessary ships, the better the performance, the less chance that we have any unwanted issues. So just watching the stream supports XGR anyway, right? We're putting this performance on for you. We're giving you all the angles, which hopefully should make it unnecessary to join the verse yourself. And if you have suggestions or if you want to join the camera team, you're more than welcome to join the XGR community and come talk to us, because we're always open to feedback first of all, and we're always looking out for talent to join us in putting this show together, because it wouldn't be possible if it wasn't for everybody supporting it.
Most definitely.
I will tell you, Osasha's looking at Crusader and on all the platforms. I really want to go out there and continue making new tracks. So many cool cargo containers, just begging for a track.
Yeah, just like most locations in the game, there's so much potential for awesome racetracks. They just need to be found and fostered and fleshed out.
Yeah, dude. Just look at these cargo containers. It's so cool that they have landing platforms. You can land your ship on them, get out, and there's walkways and little stairs that take you from bridges, I should say, from one cargo container box area to the next. These industrial platforms too. There's so many hidden corridors there. I can't wait for missions and whatever else will happen on these.
Yeah. Some of this stuff you could argue is totally unnecessary, but we're going to take advantage of it regardless, and make that work. That whoever created that asset, put it to some good use.
Dude, that's what I'm so excited for, though. I don't know if it's 3.18 or in the future, but there will be these additional platforms in random locations around the planet. I can't wait to fly to them and do missions or whatever it is that you can do there and what they look like. I'm so curious.
For sure. It's going to make Crusader feel more real, rather than having kind of one location that you ever go to. Be able to have multiple locations to go explore the planet.
And Fused makes a really good point. We can have little future drone races in these areas, because they'll be much tighter, of course. All right, we're back in game. We're making our way back to the racetrack, and we'll get on our way for the pro main once more. Do apologize for this taking a little longer. Shit happens.
Third time's the charm.
That's right. Lots of time for Shaqnu to lose his cool, get out of shape.
Yeah, these poor the racers in the pro main probably had their heart rate already coming up a little bit, the nerves coming on, and then we force them to reset, do it again the second time as well. So
Absolutely.
we'll have plenty of time to cool down.
So Red Wolfwood makes an excellent question, which is something we had considered in the past. The question is, if the AM main winner could qualify for the pro main. The reason we don't do this is because we don't want the AM main to feel like just an extra heat, right? Because if that guy qualifies, it's basically just a fifth heat. And we didn't want that. We wanted to feel like an isolated race. It is a race that you can win and you'll become the AM main winner, and that's it. If you want to be in the pro main, gotta win a heat. But it isn't a bad thought though, and we seriously considered it because it would be just as viable. There's nothing wrong with the idea, absolutely not.
Yeah, definitely.
We've got the party boat full again. Marble, if you want to give everybody a look at this, we're on our way again.
Getting all this opportunity to look out these windows and just admire the beauty of Crusader and Orison.
And of course, we're teabagging.
Sometimes it's easy to tunnel vision on the fact that we're racing at a certain location, certain time. That's the focus. That's everything. Then every once in a while you can kind of just lean back and be like, yeah, this is happening at this specific location, but within this massive system that we're currently in.
This is
all these amazing locations.
Yeah, you make a really good point though, because this is something we talked about. The difference between racing in the persistent universe versus racing in Arena Commander. Now, a little bit of context, Arena Commander is an in-lore simulation, right? There are going to be these simulation pods. Some of them are already physically present on Microtech, for example, near the Moby Glass area. And they could be your simulation pods. You go in them and you go race in the simulation. But there's something very special about the fact that this is so tangible and real and immersive. We're in the persistent universe. We all have to do the tedious walks of shame and it feels realer. But there is a really interesting question about how much easier would things be if we did it in Arena Commander. You would have better performance, less issue with respawning, you can have more crashes, quicker resets, and more control of day-night cycles. There are some real good benefits too, which begs the question, would it be worth it?
Not only the question, like, will it be worth it for good, but would it be worth it in the interim while things are less stable, right? Compared to leading in the future.
That's a good point. That's a really
lots
good
of points
point.
to this.
I think it also will all depend on, what racetracks are available in Arena Commander. Like, we know that they're interested in doing more, but would they be able to keep up, right? What kind of racetracks would be in there, and would it be enough to hold a championship or a cup? It's very... I guess what's the future for Arena Commander? It's what it's all about.
Because we're not stopping making tracks anytime soon, right? I'm positive there's more to come from Stanton, and as soon as we get our dirty little hands on Pyro, there's going to be a whole bunch more popping up, right?
Dude.
So.
We're flying through those circular hole donut rocks or whatever they were.
Oh, you know it. You know it. Those arches. Absolutely.
Speaking of racetracks, though, what's it called? Green. Help me out here. Forgot the name.
Green.
The track got ruined with the station changes. Green Forest.
Oh,
White Forest.
White Forest Hollows. Yeah.
That one is a shame because we all loved that track. I've got some amazing footage of Sharkbait whipping through it with an M50. And that was a shame to lose.
Yeah, it was so unexpected too, right? All of the assets are still there, but they just kind of got reorganized, and unfortunately that just completely borked the layout of the track. But yeah, unfortunate to lose that. It was such a fun track.
IT Odie or IT Otis. There's no confirmation of anything. We don't know. We just know that they are interested in doing more with racing with Arena Commander, but there's no information.
Yep.
So we don't know. We gotta wait and see what they want to do exactly. But excited for it as always. Whatever it will mean.
Yeah. And from the aspect of time trials, I'm very excited about some tracks maybe being available in Arena Commander, because that does get to be a bit of a hassle respawning, making your way back, especially if it's a track that doesn't have a place where you can easily grab your ship, or you can easily respawn, and you don't have access to something like a character and need any jump.
But will it feel the same?
Yeah, that's the thing. There's positives and negatives to it, right? The consequence of making a mistake and crashing is much less. And although that is kind of a win, that's kind of a loss at the same time. So it'll be interesting to see how things actually feel when we can get hands-on and see what the actual feeling is.
Yeah, no, for sure. Absolutely. I do wonder. I haven't done a whole lot of racing in Arena Commander. I did it when I only just joined the verse because I obviously wanted to experiment with it. But then as soon as I learned of the fun things you can do in the persistent universe, I just kind of stayed there because there's more opportunity to sandbox your tracks and low fly around, things like that.
Yeah, especially once we started building tracks, we got atmospheric tracks that I just enjoy the atmospheric models so much. And obviously you don't have that in Arena Commander as of yet, because even the things that look atmospheric are still vacuum based and zero G. But yeah.
I'm my character doesn't zoom in. I just wanted to double check. Are you able to zoom in? Might be me. We're all arriving back at the track.
I'm able to.
Yeah, it's just me then. Everybody is now here. We've got racers lining up. Race director is back. Osashis is here. I'm here. Just waiting. I can zoom in again now after getting out of my seat. So there's that.
Pardon me for just a second. You'll see me moving my head around weird because I'm using my head tracking to kind of manually position my head in a funky spot. So
that's how we roll, man. I still we got Marble laughing. Cause she's got her eyes on Osashis, I guess. We got to get a marble cam up at some point. Hey, by the way, sorry, on the topic of marble, reminded me of something. IAE is coming. Can we get our cams back for a second, Marble? Just want to give everybody a heads up. IAE is coming, and we are going to do something that we haven't done before. XGR is now been around for a little while, and we want to give back a little bit. The community is large enough, and we want to do something specifically for new commanders. So during IAE, it's a free-for-all, right? Anybody can play, I believe, during that period. Yep. Even if you don't have the game or if you don't have a starter pack. So what we're going to do is beginner tours. During IAE, we're gonna take an 890 jump. I'll be piloting the chunk, and we're gonna go and take that filled with beginner passengers or anybody else that's interested in touring diverse, and we're gonna go and visit key locations and maybe some lesser known locations that are interesting. We'll go check out the snake pit. We'll go check out some caves. We'll go check out Henge, whatever it's called. We'll go do all these things. We're gonna go down into Crusader. We're gonna fly through the clouds. Hell, maybe we'll have our newly formed formation team doing some maneuvers and formation flying with us while we whip through the clouds. Talking to Data Machine about that. So it's gonna be a lot of fun. Marble Maze is gonna be our announcer. She's gonna be on board giving you all the facts about the cool things that Stanton has to offer. I'm sure you're gonna be there. You still haven't told me what you want to be doing, but you're gonna be helping people around as one shape or form. Yeah,
just gonna be partying and hanging out with the crowd.
That's good. No, that's
so
good.
much fun. Yeah.
Well,
any of you guys that have ever done like a ship meet or anything like that, just imagine kind of a similar thing, but they're so much fun. You just hang around. It's like a party. You're just hanging out with guys, chatting it up, having a grand old time. Yeah. Shenanigans happen. People die. It's silly. It's so much fun. So definitely attend if you can.
That's the good thing about the 890 jump, because everyone can set their spawn, and if they die, they can just respawn. Yep. And I'm sure we'll load it up with some P52s or whatever, razors, and yeah, Benny Henge, that's the one. And we'll go whip around Snake Pit for a bit, and maybe drive some Steves around or whatever. I don't know.
Some ground vehicles in the belly as well. Yeah, we'll have a great time.
The 890 is large enough. I'll be honest, I kind of didn't want to take the 890 because I'm not a big fan of all those fancy shapes, but it's the best ship we've got for having good viewing windows and all that sort of stuff. So the invite is, if you want to be a passenger and you want to get a nice cocktail and enjoy the cruise, come and join us. On the other hand, if you want to be a part of providing this service to people, you are more than welcome to join as well and help out. Spawn ships, fly to locations, be a marker for us to find it. Anything at all. If you want to join, you are more than welcome. And news on that and when will be on the Discord. We haven't set any dates yet. We'll probably do that following this weekend. So yeah. That's that.
Race starts in 30 seconds.
Race starts in 30 seconds. Where is everybody? Oh, they're behind me. Look at that. We've got... I was looking the wrong way. All right, I'm going to just position myself a little bit here. We're going to get in a better spot. We're just going to fly forward. What's that, Marble? We're missing still one camera, Cam 4. I don't know who that is. Might be one of the racers. Oh, it's
Cam 4 crashed the desktop. Use Cam 6, Cam 7, please.
Roger that. Wishing the racers good luck then. This is the pro main. We've got Shaknu, Splen, and Sharkbait. Interestingly enough, Shaknu is on the outside. So I'm going to assume that's based on his request, because I would have expected to want the inside because the inside is closer to the corner. And you have less of a closing distance, but maybe he wants a wider turn. What do you think?
Yeah, I think I've seen him kind of do that entry, and it's a little bit wider than, say, I personally take it. So I think that's probably a lot of it. He wants a pretty shallow angle coming into that first corner, which we've mentioned before. It can be pretty tricky setting up for the slalom.
5 seconds.
Good luck, racers. 8 laps then around Caplan Stadium for the pro main today here as daylight is fading. Oh, Shaknu! What is happening with Shaknu? An incredibly slow start from him with Splen and Sharkbait straight off the line. We'll watch them dip down, and as they do that, we will see who enters the slalom first and who comes out through it and into it. It looks like Shacknu in third place. What do you think? Is he doing this on purpose, or did he just have a bad start?
It could be on purpose. He could have had a bad start, or he could have had proximity assist and not taken the time after these resets to reset that. So there's all sorts of things that could be in play right now.
Splen so close to the struts as he makes his way through. He's in first place with a good gap. Sharkbait is in second, and we've got Sharkbait in second and Shacknu in third as they make their way through Skyscraper Valley and now through Cargo Alley. There they go. Splen is got a real lead over Sharkbait, and Shacknu is hunting Sharkbait down.
That's the really tricky part for Shacknu right now, is he's got an obstacle in front of him, a moving obstacle in Sharkbait. So if he really wants to start to close the distance on Splen, he's got to make his way around Shark soon. Because Splen is just in time trial mode right now. Clear track, just setting his laps as he would time trialing them.
Yeah, that's an excellent point. Let's see if they can close the gap. We are waiting for them to go through the fold. What do you see?
Yeah, Splen with obviously still a comfortable lead. He's going through the top of the fold right now as Sharkbait and Shacknu enter the bottom side. Splen curving down now, heading into chute number 2.
Splen's in the chute.
Shacknu took it really tight. Sharkbait took it super high, so this looks like Shacknu overtaking Sharkbait for second. Barely in the lead. Hopefully these two don't collide down the chute.
No, they're keeping very clear from each other. We've got Shacknu Sharkbait playing it safe in third, sticking just behind Shacknu. They're dipping down now through Skid Row. We've got Splen already onto the fold, and we'll watch them as they enter toward the slalom. We're getting in position. Splen is dipping down now. He is into the slalom.
Big props to Sharkbait right now, holding it with Shacknu 1-1. Like, it is staying very close right now. I expected Shacknu to pass him and just kind of take off. And that's not what's happening quite yet, at least.
It's very interesting to see then 2 minutes and 2 seconds for the first lap of the race by Splen. That's quite a bit slower than Shacknu's on heat number 1. Shacknu has overtaken Sharkbait now. We've got him in second place as he's hunting down Splen. What kind of mind games is Shacknu playing? We know these guys are battling it out through the time trials. We talked about that earlier. So what is Shacknu thinking? What is Splen thinking? And where is Shark?
Yeah, well, we know Shacknu's had the most time today to just sit there and kind of strategize. So is this strategy a play? Is this just a bad start and a little mistake? Well, we shall see. I'm really curious to see if Shacknu can start closing up the distance, or if Splen and Shacknu are just going to hold it pretty even. Splen entering the fold here. Shacknu getting to the end of chute number 1, and he's just turning to enter the fold. So maybe 4 or 5 seconds difference between the two. Probably 4 seconds.
Here's the thing, right? I know that Shacknu suffers from the racing jitters. He gets nervous, especially when people are behind him. Is this maybe why he started in the back? Did he want to hunt instead of being hunted?
There's really different tastes for different racers, right? Like I personally actually I'm kind of the same way. I like to be chasing somebody. It gives me kind of that push to just really stay focused and not make mistakes. I tend to actually make more mistakes when I have just an open track myself. So maybe Shacknu's feeling the same way.
Splen then makes his way through full throttle now. He's on his way down to the slalom. We'll watch him as he makes his way through them. Here he comes with the Mustang Gamma, doing the Dolphin. And looking gorgeous while he does it. Keeping it pretty tight. Now the interesting thing with the Dolphin is you want to pitch up and down as little as you can. The tighter you can keep it, the less ground you're covering, and the more aerodynamically efficient you are. Here is Shacknu now doing it second. You can see a lot less pitching from him. So very interesting to see the difference in strategy there. The question is, are they closing the gap?
Yeah, definitely. Unfortunately, we missed a crash from Sharkbait, so Sharkbait is out. We'll have to talk to him after the race and see exactly what happened. Splen entering chute number 1.
It is so spectacular to see. We're getting some beautiful motion blur too from Double J on that camera as he whips past, making it really apparent how fast these guys are going.
6-second lead for Splen right now, so it has increased by maybe a second over the last lap. So Splen currently pushing it a little bit harder than Shacknew is.
And holding his own, man.
Absolutely.
There he goes. We'll watch Shacknew as he closes the gap. There is Shacknew. What a gorgeous flyby sound effect that is. They will be entering the 4th lap now of the race. That means they're halfway through. So we're waiting for Splen to make his way to the first turn of the track. There he goes, dipping down. And we'll wait to pick up Shacknew in the process to see how far behind he is. It looks like we're looking at about 6 seconds for the gap.
Yeah, this is just truly a battle of attrition right now. Who can keep closest to their time trial times every single lap? Who can keep that pace? But who's also willing to send it a little bit more and maybe risk crashing out?
Shacknew has been practicing this slalom so much. It's very satisfying watching him do it. Very robotic. And Splen just, holding his own. You said it. He's doing an excellent job. There he goes on his way to the chute. And there is Shacknew right behind. Entering the chute in just a second. There he comes. Through the chute is Splen. Whipping past the camera. We're waiting for Shacknew. There he is. Very stable. What's interesting about the Mustang, she can be a little bit of a handful when you're going fast, pitching up and down, bobbing, not really wanting to stay stable. We're watching Splen come through the fold.
Splen and Shacknew using the exact same strategies through the fold. No surprises there.
There goes Splen. Really expecting more from Shacknew at this point in terms of catching up.
Yeah, I'm wondering if he's just feeling a little uncomfortable pushing it any faster. Maybe he's hoping that Splen's going to make a mistake, right? And just wants to keep it together and give it a good chance for him to finish and hope that Splen crashes out. Not sure what Shacknew's mindset is right now.
The gap doesn't really seem to be shrinking though as Splen heads on to lap number 5. If Shacknew wants to make a move, it's got to be now, and I expected him to be a lot faster through that slalom. Here comes Splen then, halfway through. And there is Shacknew.
At this point, I think Splen's probably been putting in some sneaky practice himself as well. Just looking at how comfortable he is here, how consistent he's been over these laps we've seen already.
You got to remember as well, we had these 30Ks, so the racers had a bit of downtime that was unexpected, and that breaks concentration as well.
For sure it does. Been trying to count the distance here over the last couple laps. It seems like it's really close, staying almost exactly the same. So neither of these racers, I think, are outpacing each other much.
Yeah, I'm looking at like 3.5 seconds for Shacknew now.
Yeah, he may have closed up actually now. We'll have to take a look here. It looks like, it actually looks like that's the case. Shacknew is either put on the afterburners or Splen made a few mistakes over this previous lap. But it's definitely closed.
So request for the razor in the middle of the track just to pitch up a little bit. You're in the way. There comes Splen now into chute number 2. Let's count seconds here. 0, 1, 2, 3, 4 seconds and a bit for Shacknew now. So the gap is right around the 4-second mark, I want to say.
Yeah, we've still got a few laps to go. Gap is closing. We've got a race on our hands for sure. We'll see if Splen can pick up the pace or get it back together, and we'll see if Shacknew can continue to manage this speed he's got going this previous lap and a half or so.
Here comes Splen down into the slalom once more. Let's see how tidy he keeps it now. We'll target him so we can see the attitude of his ship very clearly as he makes his way down. Definitely a lot more aggressive on the pitching, and I want to say this is where Shaknu closes the gap a little bit. We'll watch and count seconds as Splen makes his way out. We'll do the count one more time. 2.5 to 3 seconds now for Shaknu. Definitely closing the gap to Splen. Into Cargo Valley they go. Splen is through. And Shaq is through.
Here they come in to shoot number 1 yet again. Really, really close looking from this angle. Of course, we're looking at them along the line. Here comes Splen along the chute. Absolutely beautiful as usual. Keeping it on its side, actually, whereas Shaknu is staying straight up.
Oh, that's interesting. So Splen trying to optimize a reduction in speed. If you don't roll, you don't lose speed. That's the tactic, I'm assuming.
Yeah, I think so. And setting him up to the roll angle he wants to be at for the exit already.
Here comes Splen then, on his way down through the second chute.
Shaknu just behind. I can't tell if it's closing yet, but it's still remaining a lot closer than it was the first 4 laps of this race.
It looks very stable at this point. We'll do another count when they reach the cargo containers. Forgive me, the slalom. We are on the second to last lap here as Splen comes down now to the slalom.
Amazing how these guys can keep it so consistent through this slalom lap after lap.
Oh, it's gorgeous,
It
man.
looks easy, but it's extremely tricky.
There is Shaknu now. He's entering the screen. They're close. Whoa, it's it's not even a second between them now. Shaknu is putting on the heat. He is so close as they go through Skyscraper Valley and into Cargo Valley now. There is not a lot between these guys. It is not going to be long before Shaknu has a chance to pounce.
Splen's got to be feeling the heat at this point. Definitely looks like he made a few errors throughout that slalom. Shaknu just keeping it super, super clean and closing the distance.
Let's watch them in the chute as they blast past Double J, our stationary camera. There is nothing between them now as they pass him with beautiful sound effects as well.
Splen coming into the upwards turn on the fold. Shaknu right there. Both Splen and Shaknu getting a visibility of one another on that 180, so they both know how close this is right now, no questions asked.
There is Splen through the second chute, and there is Shaknu doing the same. Oh man, they are so close. We'll chase them towards Skid Row. We'll see who can do a better job dipping down as the sun is starting to set. This race is going to conclude with not a lot of sun left above the horizon. I feel like Shaknu had a bit of a slow turn around Skid Row. We'll have to see the gap as they enter the slalom. I want to say Splen made that look a lot easier than Shaknu, and we saw him overtake speed there during the final heat of the of today as well. Here comes Splen entering the slalom.
And we are sitting on, I can't quite see the lap count, unfortunately, but I know we are dwindling here. Shaknu doing such an amazing job of navigating oh my gosh, he's just closing on Splen.
Shaknu is overtaking Splen through the slalom.
Wider.
Shaknu is neck and neck with Splen now. Are they going to make their way through Skyscraper Valley intact without colliding? It is Shaknu with a higher line versus Splen. Shaknu now entering Cargo Valley before Splen does. Who comes out first? It is Shaknu, but Splen with more speed, and they hit! Shaknu is out. Splen is still going. We lost a racer as Splen tried to overtake Shaknu. That was awful to watch. I can't believe that Splen has taken out Shaknu trying to make that overtake with so much more speed. Oh,
wow. What a catastrophe for poor Shaknu. Oh.
This is not how Splen will want to win a race. Let's see.
No, definitely not.
Splen has stopped. Splen has stopped. No, he's still going. He's missing a wing. Splen is missing his left wing as he's trying to make his way around the fold. We're looking at a little bit of network latency, a bit of jumping around. Forgive me for that. Let's see what's happening. Is Splen still in control of his ship?
Yes, he's having a very difficult time controlling with that lack of that wing missing. Everyone who's flown the Mustang knows that when it loses a wing or two, it starts being extremely difficult to keep in a straight line, let alone managed around obstacles and corners.
Would you want to win the race like this? Oh! Splen is out of control trying to go through Skid Row, spinning out as he makes his way through. Does he make it through? He does. Listen to the sounds on that engine rattling as he makes his way across the finish line to come in first place as the only one left in this race, taking out Shacknu. Shacknu, who battled his way back to the front so well across 8 laps. But he got taken out as Splen took it back.
Very unfortunate. We've seen between these two, right? They have so much respect for each other. So I expect, Splen to be not having wanted that to be how it went down. And I'm sure Shackno will be understanding, but it's definitely unfortunate that it had to go down that way and we didn't get to see those two slug it out for that final lap.
That was sick.
Absolute chaos. That's insanity.
That was incredible to watch the comeback from Shacknu. Really, we'll have to ask him what happened at that start. What was the tactical decision there? What was he up to? Sharkbait losing it out somewhere halfway in the race or about a third in. And Splen then with a lunge. That was crazy. Let's check in with Splen. Man. Congratulations, Splen, for winning this incredibly tense pro main race. Taking out Shacknu during an overtake. What happened? And I can't imagine this is how you wanted to win this one.
Not at all, never. I mean, you never want to win with a collision, but with these two ships the way they are, that was a risky overtake, This is why I save my overtakes for when the ships are at their slowest point. So you always run the risk when we're both going at full speed like that.
Yeah, it definitely makes sense.
What did you see as you were going through Cargo Valley that time?
It wasn't much at Cargo Valley. He was pretty much out of my viewpoint. I saw him in the slalom, and I said, "Oh no, he's doing it." And I was like, "All right, I got to take these turns tighter then." And so I just, focused on the TVI and just pulled as hard as I could into Cargo Valley, and that's what had happened.
That was crazy. Did you see him when you were coming out of it? Because it looked like you overtook him and clipped. You kind of rear-ended him from our perspective.
Well, no, I didn't see him. It did feel like I was getting the ground back, yes, because I knew I had a superior turn there. I had a tighter line and a little more boost saved up, but I had no idea where he was. I mean, you're not gonna with the desync and with everything else. It's just kind of a risk you got to take.
Oh yeah, absolutely. And a big congratulations. I really think you held your own there from the get-go. Did you feel the pressure from behind at all? Did you know Shacknu was closing the gap? Did you have anybody spotting or feeding you information?
Nope, it was just me today. And yeah, I knew he was back there because on the 180 turns, I could see his distance is usually about 1 kilometer. So, and I knew I had some leadership economy to spend. So you better believe I took that slalom pretty safe, and those sort of instances are where I lost some speed for sure. But, you got to take it.
Hell yeah, dude. Yeah. No, absolutely.
Oh, great job. It's tricky being hunted an entire race, especially a long battle of attrition race like this one.
This is a long one. It's 16 minutes. I think it's one of the longest programs I've ever done.
So with that said, you earn yourself a really awesome prize sponsored by CIG, the Avenger Titan starter pack with LTI. Have you got any plans for that baby?
Best ship in the game by far. I love the Avenger. I'm very, very excited to get that. I don't know. I mean, I use the Avenger almost every single day when I play this game. When I'm streaming, it's my #1 transport ship. So I'm very happy to receiving one officially instead of just like the usual loaner. So that's awesome.
That's brilliant, man.
Awesome, man.
Well, congratulations again. We'll forward your Your apologies to Shaqnu. That was a really unfortunate collision. You make a good point. It is really hard with the desync and the network positions to know exactly where the other racers are. So it's just what happens. But again, big congratulations. A worthy win.
Thank you. I mean, hopefully one day it'll feel more like rubbing, and not so much like just ready to kill each other. Hopefully one day that sort of thing could have gone on a little longer, all the way to the finish line. We would have loved that moment, but we gotta wait.
Look, I say this all the time, Splen. We've seen the M50 commercial where the M50 and the 300 series or the 350 series bang shields, and the shields are sparking. That's what I would like to see, and that is what will, I think, kick racing into the next gear.
Agreed. Big time.
All right, man. Congratulations. We're going to check in with Shaqnu and chat with you later.
Yep.
All right, send my best to him. He, always he's the guy to beat. So I'm happy to be here with him. And win or lose, it was a wonderful, wonderful race.
Hell yeah, dude.
Right on.
Shaqnu, our condolences for getting knocked out of the race in the second to last lap there. What did you see? What happened at the start? What was the process like for you in this race? Talk us through everything.
Yeah, so I wanted to try out a new strat, which was basically letting Shark and Splint pull ahead and start out from the back, because I think my biggest problem as a racer in the past races is when I see someone in front of me, I have this sensation of just really, really wanting to overtake them. And that just kind of gets in my head, and I tend to push myself more than what I usually do, and I end up crashing. So I try to put myself in opportunities like this more often to be in the back so that I don't get that self-induced pressure as much by being behind. And yeah, I mean, I felt pretty calm throughout the whole race. I heard Shark DNF behind me, so I knew it was pretty much just me and Splen for the most of it. And I knew I was gaining ground on every slalom, and I think I was gaining a little bit of ground on each of the folds, so I knew I was doing well on the slaloms. And I actually didn't know that I was going to catch up until the very last lap. And then that's when I think it was like the second to last one. I was like, okay, I think I still have a chance to maybe win this race. But in order to do that, I'm going to have to overtake him at the slalom. And I know I said I wasn't going to do that, and it's too risky, but I just went for it and rolled the dice, and I noticed that he wasn't going for that little pocket between the right angle and the really thin bar. So that's what I was aiming for throughout the second half of the race, to catch up on some lost time. And I think that's where I overtook him on either the second, I think it was the second to last pair of struts is where I overtook him. And usually coming out of the slalom, I don't use boost at all. I actually let it recharge. But for some reason, something said, no, use a little bit more boost to pull ahead of Splen. And so I did that, but that actually threw my boost timings off, because now I didn't have it to dump it all at Cargo Valley. So I was like, oh shit, he's going to be right in my ass coming into Cargo Valley. And that's exactly what happened. I think coming out of it, my turn was not as tight as what I hoped it to be, and I think his was, and he gained a lot of ground on me at Cargo, and well, I think you saw what happened. I'm not even mad. It's what it is. That's Star Citizen Racing. I really hope that CIG implements either ship-to-ship shield collisions, or maybe we just spin out a little bit if we get booped like that, but that's just the way it goes right now. So not even upset. It was a great race. I loved it from the very get-go. It was awesome.
Right on, man. Yeah, that was fun to watch. There was obviously a little bit of rubber banding that happened earlier when either of you would make little mistakes, but then you really seemed to put on that charge around lap 3.5, 4. And it was really, really fun to watch you close the distance. Just unfortunate it had to end that way, but really exciting stuff and great racing.
Yeah, I knew I had to overtake Sharkbait within the first 3 laps because I saw Splen's distance. He was getting further and further ahead, and I'm like, man, I really got to take shark bait like ASAP. And so I just so happened to do it at the slalom, and then he crashed behind me. Hopefully it wasn't my fault that he crashed, and then it was just trying to catch up as much ground as I could to Splen throughout the race.
Wow.
I know.
Well, I think you answered all my questions. I just want to say, I think you've really made a name for yourself in the racing scene. You've become an inspiration to many, and you're doing amazing work with the racing school, really lowering the threshold for so many people to come and join us. So I wanted to say a big thank you for that. Maybe that's a little bit of a consolation for getting knocked out in this one. I will say, I think us waiting on the start finish line is a dick move. Next time, come on, man.
Yeah, I know. I'm trying out something different. I think I really took this as an opportunity for me to grow as an individual and grow as a racer, and to not self-induce myself so much with this I guess I put too much pressure on myself, or at least I used to when I was behind a racer, and I think that's not the case as much anymore. I seem to be more cool, calm, and collected when I'm behind someone nowadays compared to a month ago.
That is a great point. Yeah.
Really just trying to mature as a racer. I think I skipped from level 2 to level 4, and I just neglected level 3. So for those of you who don't know, level 3 is racing against other racers. So that's something I'm really trying to develop right now.
You make a great point. For those that don't know, a little bit of context, Shaq New, racing in the Stanton Cup, while being such a fast world record setter, struggled to make it through the races. So that's the background to wanting to slow down a little bit and get better at the pressure. I think definitely you did that this race at the expense of Splen, I guess. But that's great, man. It's a pleasure to watch you guys battle it out, not just in the world records, but also at the track. So again, kudos, respect, and congratulations, regardless of your loss today, for the amazing performance.
I definitely see this as a win for me. I think me personally, I improved better than what I thought I would. I thought my heart rate would be through the roof and my hands were would be sweaty, but I was pretty calm, especially being behind Splen the whole time. But I think the highlight for me today was definitely Flip-A-Dip, getting into the pro race. Unfortunately, he couldn't make it because of a family emergency, but he's one of the students. I think the progress he's made from like 3 weeks ago till now is absolutely mind-bending. Like, even I didn't progress as quickly as he did. So yeah, shout out to him, man. He's doing great.
That's beautiful.
That's awesome.
Well said. All right, man. Well, congratulations again, and look forward to your performances in coming races. It's great to see you grow on the competitive live race level and scene. So I look forward to it.
Yeah, me too. Thank you.
Oh, great job.
Wow, what a race day as the sun is setting. That was an exciting race day. I can't wait to watch the pro race back specifically. That was intense to watch Shaq New kind of crawl closer and closer to Splen. What are your thoughts? What are your feelings?
Yeah, just crazy stuff. Obviously sucks to end in a crash. I like you, can't wait to watch back that pro main. I really want to see the exact points where one racer made a mistake and the other was able to catch, or one racer was able to push it, especially the slalom runs. I'm really curious to check out the slalom runs between Splen and Shaq New, where Splen admittedly was taking it a little bit wider and safer, and obviously Shaq New was pushing it to the absolute limit.
It's always amazing to see that the difference. And Shaq New made a really interesting point about boost timings, which is so easy to glance over when you're just spectating a race. It all just looks like you're going full throttle and putting down good lines, but it isn't. It is about boost timings as well. You only have so much. Where do you deploy it? And Shaq New explained, to reiterate, that he used a little bit more during the slalom than he normally would. So he was out of boost coming out of the cargo valley and ended up getting collected by Splen. I'm lost for words right now with Splen losing a wing too. That was exciting. What's up next? We've got lots of racing classes. So again, come and join if you're interested in learning that. We've got formation flying that Data Machine does on Sundays. So if you like casual formation flying events, you can come and join those. When are you going low flying?
Yeah, we don't have an exact date set soon, but we did a hooning session. Would have been about a month ago at this point. Had an awesome time with a bunch of guys. Got some cool footage together and had a cool group video on it. So planning on doing that very, very soon. If not before the end of the year, right at the first of the new year, we'll be having it. But it's probably sometime like in early December or something like that. We'll be having a Hoon Day. So keep an eye out for that.
In 7 days from today, we have the Aurora All-Star hosted by Steve. Steve is hosting basically a race where it's just Auroras, which is really cool. Love the flight handling of the Aurora. The cockpit looks awesome, so it's going to be really spectacular to watch that. We've got Junktown Group Practice, which is hosted, oh gosh, forgive me, I don't remember. It's not listed here. I think it's Aaron. Yeah, I think it's Aaron hosting those races.
I think so, yeah.
And we've got a 1v1 tournament that he's hosting. We have the Buggy Racetrack race coming up as soon as 318 launches, so be sure to get ready for that. We are joined by Martin Mills for that race. It's a bracket tournament, and he's spectating with us. He created the track, and also he will be racing himself, so that's going to be really exciting to watch.
Very, very fun.
Yeah, in the new year, we've got the Startership circuit race by Red Wolf again, which was a huge success the first time around. So can't wait for that one. And the Stanton Cup, when will that come up? That will come up as soon as we know that performance is stable and we do not have the streaming stuttery bugs anymore around on-foot areas, for lack of a better name.
And let's not forget Klemka's Freestyle X event is currently ongoing right now until the 25th of November. So check that out in the events as well and find the thread for that. You can submit your run for that event. Yeah, all the way till the 25th of November.
Good point. We need to get that onto the calendar. It is not yet on the calendar, so we will get that on there as well. And with that, a big thank you for tuning in and supporting XGR. If you want to find us again, the link is there, right there, racexgr.com/Discord. Just come and join us. Have a good time. Chat with us if you like racing. Come fly in the verse and have a good time. Come race if you want to up your competitive level. As always, Osashis, it's been a pleasure.
Yeah, yep, absolutely, like always. And yeah, thanks so much, and we'll see you guys at the next race very, very soon.
All right, man. 07, everybody. Catch you next time.